1106 of our gatherings together started in the midday time slot from noon until 3, shifted over to 3 until 7, afternoon drive, they call it, a couple of years ago. I've appreciated almost every single day. I thank you for everything that you did to contribute to what was a pretty special show yesterday. We so appreciate each of you. I compare the listening audience of our show and of Super Talk 99.7 WTN very much like one big happy family reunion. Some family members get along with other family members a little bit better. For the most part, we get along pretty famously. At least we're able to sit down and gather together and break bread together on occasion. And in those occasions, I do so deeply appreciate you. We've got lots to get into today, a lot of which has to do with the aftermath of the news yesterday afternoon of the passing of the great Dolly Parton at the age of 80. We will do so throughout the course of the day, and we will sprinkle in other news of the day because obviously the news does not stop because we have lost the great Dolly Parton. It is Wednesday, August 26th. I mentioned that. You can find us on a variety of platforms. Allow me to get the pleasantries out of the way as we are found on, of course, the radio dial 99.7 FM. You can also locate us on Spotify, iHeart, TuneIn. We have our own app, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Take us wherever you'd like to go. We are there for you. And then there's Talk TV, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble. If you are a masochist in the listening audience and want to watch the sausage made, that is the way to get it done. The players of the show, my name's Matt. There's Ken Weaver. He's behind the glass. He gathers headlines for a living, delivers them twice an hour, and when it breaks, hello, Brother Weaver.
How about you boys?
You doing all right?
I'm doing all right.
Good. Jackson Williams is, Jackson's got a smile on his face every day, but today in particular, he seems rather happy. Hello, Jackson.
Chipper, is he?
He looks great for today.
Hey, what's up?
How's it going in there, Jackson?
Good.
You doing all right?
We'll see.
We'll see. All right. Well, good to have you with us.
They changed things.
And the chipperness has gone away.
They touched my things.
Somebody touched Jackson's cheese, y'all, and that's bad news. Obviously, the last 24 hours have just taken us all aback. Ken, great job yesterday recording or covering the breaking news. And
you guys did it, man.
It was a very interesting show, to say the least. Our goal was to allow people that were and felt closest to Dolly Parton, who is truly a treasure of the international. I mean, she's a treasure of the world. She's a treasure of the nation, and especially the state of Tennessee and here in Middle Tennessee. Just an opportunity to give everyone a chance to emote and to talk about their feelings, to tell several of their stories. And we got that chance to do so with you, the listening audience, with any number of others, to include Ricky Skaggs, Governor Bill Lee, Cameron Sexton, Jack Johnson, Marshall. I mean, there was a lot of folks that made the time to give us a call and offer their thoughts about the greatness that was Dolly Parton, telling such wonderful stories. I think one of my favorite stories that we got yesterday was Johnny B's story about how he got an autographed photo of Dolly Parton because she listened to the show.
Right.
Listened to Johnny B and Phil Valentine. Johnny never met her, but he did not believe when the secretary of Dolly Parton said, "Oh, yeah, she listens to your show. I'm going to send you a signed 8x10 glossy photograph." And when, in fact, that did happen, you notice JB said he checked the signature. The signatures are real, right? It's pretty cool. That's what I did last night. I left the airwaves. We left at 7:00, handed over to Mark Levin. I drove home, and my goodness, just spent the evening reading stories about what a wonderful philanthropist she was. I mean, obviously, we know about her entrepreneurial spirit, her business spirit, her kindness, her generosity, her love, and, of course, her extreme talent. But the kindness that she showed to other people repeatedly. I think the best story that I have heard, or the one that strikes a chord with me more than any other, for whatever reason, is the story about the relationship between she and Porter Wagner, and how that soured, and then how it turned back around, it boomeranged back around into kindness and love again, and Dolly insisted on it. And as the story goes, in case some of you have missed it, as the story went, I mean, obviously, Dolly Parton was a part of the Porter Wagner show, and Porter Wagner was very, very much a part of making Dolly Parton the international superstar that she became. And she always knew that. But that does not mean that things did not get a little sour as they recognized that their time together was coming to an end. They did many duets together, but she had grown in fame, and she was invested in doing more with her career than just being kind of the sidekick, if you will, of Porter Wagner on his television show. And so most of us know the story about I Will Always Love You. She wrote that as a way to say goodbye to Porter Wagner. What you might not know is that, that did not necessarily make everything all right between Porter Wagner and Dolly Parton. And while they loved one another, the legal folks got involved, and at some point, Porter Wagner sued Dolly Parton. And, and you can look up, there have been books written about her life, so surely there are better people to tell the full story about all of that lawsuit and whatnot. But the bottom line is this. He sued her, and it was not good, and eventually all of that got behind them and settled, and Dolly Parton's career ascended, and Porter Wagner's career didn't. And Porter Wagner was a major star, don't get me wrong, but his career, he made a couple of bad investments in life, and his career was kind of on the downward slide. He was in the winter season, if you will, of his entertainment career. And due to a couple of bad investments, he was pretty bad off financially at one point in his life. And he needed to sell his song catalog. And so he offered that up. And, you sell your song catalog to get the money to pay off the bills, but then you no longer have the rights to any of your music. You've lost it forever. And it goes to, one of the corporate bigwigs or whomever wants to buy it. It goes to that person or that entity. And who came along to buy his song catalog but Dolly Parton? And she bought it primarily to try to make sure that he was financially solvent, that he was financially okay, that he wouldn't want for anything later on in his life. And then, and this is the crux of the story, she gave it back to him. So she purchased his song catalog from him and then turned around and gave the songs back to his family.
Amazing.
And, is there anything else, Ken, that epitomizes the kindness and the love that Dolly Parton exuded than that story? She could, a normal, a normie, and I'll tell you, as much as I love Dolly Parton, I think I love Dolly Parton so much because she's so different than me. Because, a normal person would go, well, the hell with Porter Wagner. He's going to sue me after I try to leave and be better myself. I'm not talking to that guy again. Well, she didn't think that way. She loved him. She appreciated what he did for her career. And part of the reason she bought the catalog was for that reason. And, well, she just exemplifies the wonderful nature of her humanity in that she said, and oh, by the way, I'm just going to give that back to you.
Here you go.
Here you go. But you just bought it. Yeah, I did. I bought it for you. It's yours. It's a gift.
Yeah, I don't think Michael Jackson gave back the Beatles catalog.
I don't think he did. I don't
Paul
think
McCartney.
He did. I don't think he did either. So we can continue breaking that down for you. The question has come up. We brought it up a little bit later on in the show yesterday. What would be appropriate? What would be an appropriate way to honor Dolly Parton as Tennessee's native girl? I think obviously a lot of you have brought up B&A Airport, Nashville International Airport, as a pretty obvious way. That suggestion had come up earlier, and it has come up again. There was another suggestion that was brought up by, me, because I remember an effort that was going on right around the time that I got into Nashville. I don't remember the exact particulars of the Nathan Bedford Forrest bust controversy, but I know that there was one, right? That Nathan Bedford Forrest was, obviously he had if you've never been down to the state capitol, in the rotunda area of the state capitol, there is, hold on just a second. In the rotunda area, there are little, areas where there's a relief, and in the relief are these large busts of major figures in Tennessee history. Andrew Jackson is there twice. I think Polk has one as well. And Nathan Bedford Forrest, up until 2020, had one too. And because of, Black Lives Matter and the Derek Chauvin case and the aftermath of the George Floyd death, there were a lot of calls to pull it down. And eventually, I think lawmakers decided to pull the bust and just leave the open relief area. You and I saw it, but they had. Remember when we went down to the Capitol and we saw those large busts in the Capitol, and Andrew Jackson had two.
Yes.
He had one as a general and one as a president of the United States, which is appropriate, sure. But the suggestion was brought up that maybe it would be the right thing to do to put a bust, no pun intended, of Dolly Parton. So Tennessee lawmakers began the process of doing that in 2021. This is just before I got into town. Her response is a wonderful example of her humility and an example of who she was. So this is a letter that Dolly wrote to the General Assembly in response to the possibility of having a bust of herself put up in the Tennessee Capitol. I want to thank the Tennessee legislature for their consideration of a bill to erect a statue of me on the Capitol grounds. I am honored and humbled by the intention, but I've asked the leaders of the state legislature to remove the bill from any and all consideration. Given all that is going on in the world, I don't think putting me on a pedestal is appropriate this time. I hope, though, that somewhere down the road, several years from now, or perhaps after I'm gone, if you still feel I deserve it, then I'm certain I will stand proud in our great state capital as a grateful Tennessean. In the meantime, I continue to try to do the good work to make this state proud. Dolly. Well, lawmakers, you heard the woman. Let's go. Let's make this happen. It's beyond time. B&A Airport, sure. Bust in the state capitol or some sort of statue in the state capitol, 100%. Her hotel is opening up a little bit later on this year. We'll talk about that as well. Once again, take your telephone calls and give you some of the news that's going on around the world, not Dolly related. I watched a little show last night. Matt, look, we just tried to put something together. Did you watch, either you watched this ABC, I bet you didn't. ABC tried to put together a show, and I felt so bad for them because we were scrambling. I was scrambling. Jackson was as well. Ken, to put together as best we could something that would honor the memory of Dolly Parton. And ABC put something together. I was watching. It was like 9 o'clock last night, and boy, I mean, I felt for them. It was obvious that they were doing this last minute because some of the technical glitches, and at the opening, audio didn't match video, and some of the video wasn't there, and some of the video was in the wrong place. And I felt bad because I'm like, man, oh man, I feel you back there in the editing bay, because there's no question that there were people editing that process right up until the moments before it went on air. But we were watching some of that, the Barbara Walters special where she interviewed and it's funny, a lot of women nowadays are kind of annoyed at Barbara Walters for the way that Barbara Walters was interviewing Dolly back in the day, because she was basically saying, aren't you a bad example for women because you got the big hair and the big boobs and all that kind of thing. She had such a great answer because Barbara Walters asked her, I think I had this clip. Walters asked her basically if her boobs were real. And
goodness.
No, she did. And Dolly's, her response, she said something, and then Walters, followed up with, people, want to know if that's all natural or something like that. And she said, well, so you asking me if they're real? Well, here's what I'll say. If I wasn't, what'd she say? If I didn't feel like I was already blessed enough, that sure does sound like something I'd do. Now think about that answer, Weaver. That is a non-answer. If I didn't feel like I was already blessed enough, that sure would sound like something that I'd do.
That's a perfect Dolly Parton answer, man.
That's so good. 22 after the hour, 615-737-9986, 9986 if you'd like to be a part of the show. We're unable to be on yesterday. It was such a busy day yesterday. We appreciate you. And we've got news of this afternoon at 22 after 3 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. That's next. Fellas, let's talk for a moment. If your energy levels are off and you don't know why, if things aren't working the way that things used to work, you're not alone. I've been telling people about the Tennessee Men's Clinic powered by Men's Pro for a while now. And now they have count them, four separate locations. They've been doing this for years, friends. For well over a decade, Evan Bass and his team have been in Nashville, Tennessee. Now they've opened locations in Cool Springs. They have one in Clarksville and the brand new location in Murfreesboro, all designed to suit you, to serve you, and to act as true medical providers to help you. They'll run labs and build a plan around you, not some one-size-fits-all deal. And plus, these are qualified urologists, so everything you do is a medical-based approach to getting to the bottom of the issue. For less than $100, $99, you'll get in for your initial consultation, and they'll get to work, and they'll figure out a plan of action for you. Friends, it's all about getting back in the game. So, men, if you've lost a step or two from an energy perspective, or you're no longer able to have that intimate romantic relationship with that significant others of yours, it's time to call the Tennessee Men's Clinic. 615-208-9090, 208-9090.
It's 2. Call 800-777-1979 or biglou.com.
Hi, friends. Matt Murphy for the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Dr. Kevin Mitchell has something really special right around the corner that I will be telling you about, perhaps not today, but as early as tomorrow. And I'm very, very excited about this. Dr. Mitchell and I were talking about it earlier today, and I don't think I can pull the trigger on it today, but just suffice it to say that if you've been thinking about walking through the doors of the Wellness Institute of Nashville, I believe this week is going to be your week. They certainly have my seal of approval. Epic healing for an epic civilization. I mean, the Medical Bay 1 technology is pretty incredible. Obviously, HydroWave is there. Spinal decompression there. E-stim there. They are all designed to do one thing: help you heal, help you get better, help you hurt less without the need for surgery, without the need for pills, without the need for needles. That's what it's all about. Dr. Kevin Mitchell and his team at the Wellness Institute of Nashville want to see you. 615-246-5009, 615-246-5009, or painisbad.com. And be sure to listen up over the next 24 hours for an incredible opportunity from the Wellness Institute of Nashville.
Good news for NES customers as technology companies eye Middle Tennessee for data centers. We got that for you and more coming up at 3:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Thank you for being with us. Hey, in addition to remembering the greatness of Dolly Parton, and we continue to do that today, and there's other aspects of this story that I want to talk to you about. What is an appropriate tribute to Dolly Parton is a primary source of conversation for us. Plus, I have some various clips that I want to share with you. Number one, Dolly the mainstream media desperately wanted her to be political all of her life, and they particularly wanted her to be political when it came to Donald Trump. Something that other country music artists don't seem to be able to stop themselves from doing. Jelly Roll, I'm looking at you. But Dolly was having none of it. I got that great clip for you coming up. But in addition to it being a celebration of the life of Dolly Parton, it is also, can I get a little horn? Can the horn guy do something in the background there? I know he's not been doing any victory laps for Jackson lately, but it is National Dog Day, everybody. How about that? National Dog Day. How many you got over there, Jackson? Aren't you sitting like 14 dogs right now?
3 right now.
3 right now? Won't that go up to, did you say 5 by the weekend?
Yes.
Wow, that's nice. That's nice. Who's your favorite?
No comment.
Smart. They might be
You
listening.
afraid one of them's listening?
Yeah. They might be listening.
I gave him a radio just in case.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice. So they can listen to the sound of Jackson's mellifluous tones.
No, I just turned on the TV for him.
Uh-huh.
What'd you put it on?
Football.
Football.
Foosball.
They're watching film.
Oh, yeah, getting ready for the season? Aren't we all getting ready for the big season? Someone asked a question regarding Dolly Parton and football, and I think the answer is an emphatic yes. How does a team honor someone that is important to their team through the SEC via a logo, for example, on their helmets? Like if the Tennessee Vols, I'm not telling the Tennessee Volunteers what to do, but I'm suggesting that maybe a little butterfly on the back of the helmets might be something nice.
Might happen.
I mean, what would you have to do? Do you know? I mean, they would just apply to the league. I mean, they would have to clear that through the SEC, right?
I don't think so. I think they could just do it.
You think?
What's the league going to say? No.
I mean, no. I know they're not going to say no. But,
Like,
you know,
I'm sure there's some paperwork that has to be filed, but if they just did it, nobody's going to say anything.
That's fair. That's fair.
What if
Get
you
those
found out
butterflies off.
that the SEC fined the Vols over Dolly Parton logo on the back of their helmets, you would lose it.
That would be so awesome.
And it would be justified.
Yes, it would be justified. So, yeah, I mean, if the Vols aren't, I'm sure they're already thinking about that. But if you're not already thinking about that, you need to be thinking about that, Vols. Come on.
Yes, sir.
I mean, that's just got to happen. Speaking of Jelly Roll, kind of stepped in a little bit on the Jimmy Kimmel show. Here's the thing. When you don't care anything at all about some things, then it is impossible when other aspects of those some things come up to care less. And I've never really cared for Jelly Roll's music. And I made this statement on social media, and this is not, I don't fault anybody that does like his music. Good for you. A matter of taste is not a matter of fact on the Matt Murphy Show. But I'm just being as open and honest with you as I can that I didn't really care for the music, and there was always something about the story that seemed forced or fake to me. So I just never really got into it. I'm not saying it is forced or fake. I'm telling you my perception of the situation. If you don't know what I'm talking about with regard to Jimmy Kimmel Live, don't worry. We will feed you baby birds a little bit later on. Plus, in case I failed to mention it, I think I mentioned it, AG Jonathan Skrmetti will be on the show in just a little while, about an hour from now, to discuss the big-time settlement that happened between Tennessee and various other states and, what is it, Meta? That's the parent company? Yeah, Facebook. Meta has settled for, I think, $17 billion. We'll get the details coming up in just a couple of minutes. Plus your telephone calls. It is 31 after the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories, and I've got the full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. Got some good news for NES customers as technology companies eye Middle Tennessee for data centers. Here's Channel 4's Hunter Hoagland.
The NES board met this morning and approved a new policy that ensures you will not have to foot the bill for massive grid expansions triggered by AI. Now, if you are an NES customer, you're paying about 13 cents per kilowatt hour. However, tech and industrial companies have been paying less than half of that at just 6 cents. Now, under a new plan, data centers would have to pay the full cost of the new power infrastructure they need instead of shifting those costs to you. That means data centers would pay a $1.5 million fee for every megawatt of new power they need, plus their electric rates would go up 10% over the next 3 years.
A federal judge has followed the U.S. Supreme Court ruling and lifted the final court block on President Trump's executive order involving mail-in voting. The ruling allows the administration and the U.S. Postal Service to move forward with new mail ballot procedures, including federal involvement in voter list verification. However, a coalition of 23 states has already filed a new lawsuit seeking to stop that plan. And Brian Koberger has been granted a hearing in his bid to undo the guilty plea that sent him to prison for the murders of 4 University of Idaho students. A judge has scheduled an evidentiary hearing in June to examine Koberger's claims that he was pressured into making a false confession. And a landmark settlement between Meta and dozens of states will bring more than $751 million to Tennessee. The agreement ends Tennessee's court case alleging Facebook and Instagram contributed to mental health harms among young users. The funds will be used to support programs aimed at protecting children online in Tennessee. We get details from ABC's Elizabeth Schulze.
A default daily time limit of 2 hours for users under the age of 18. A ban on displaying numbers of likes or reactions to users under age 18. A ban on cosmetic procedure image filters. The option for some users under 18 to have a non-personalized feed. That is significant because that gets at algorithmic changes with these platforms.
That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Brake tapping, stop and go underway, especially northbound 65 up to the South Loop, then eastbound South Loop from 65 over to the 2440 split. Northbound North Loop, you're coming to complete stops. Still got a crash at Mayat Drive south of Mayat Industrial Drive, and then over by the airport a crash, Murfreesboro Pike at Kermit Drive. I'm Ken Weaver.
As I speak to you about King & Associates Insurance, I'm oftentimes talking to you about homeowners insurance or automobile insurance. But today, I want to talk to you about life insurance. It's important, folks. It's not so much important for you. I mean, obviously, if we're getting life insurance for you, if we have to use that life insurance, you've met your great reward. But it is for your family. We want to make sure that if you have kids, they're taken care of. If you have a spouse, a loved one, they're taken care of. Life insurance isn't about you. It's about your family members. It's about your loved ones. Making sure the house is taken care of. Making sure the financial needs are met. That's the last thing that your family wants to be thinking about during these times of need. And at King & Associates Insurance, they make it simple with no pressure, no confusion, clear opportunities and options that fit your family. Call 615-329-8121 today. 615-329-8121 or visit online at kinginsurance.com. kinginsurance.com. King & Associates Insurance, protecting what matters most. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Jump on the phones here in just a moment. Honors for Dolly incoming. B&A Airport seems like a no-brainer. A statue/bust. And I bring up bust. People think I'm being funny. I'm not being funny. There's a bunch of busts. You saw them, Jackson. This is not a joke. There are busts of various Tennessee figures in the rotunda of the Tennessee Capitol. If you've never been, you can see them yourselves. And it would be a bust of Dolly Parton. I don't know if that little area where it would go is quite wide enough, but, hey, there's your joke. So I truly experienced, fellas, the y'all ever heard the old saying, the man with no shoes felt sorry for himself until he met the man with no feet? Right? As bad as you got it, things might get worse. I experienced that today, Jackson, with my drive into work.
What'd you run into, Brother Murphy?
Oh, thank you, Ken. Jackson's ignoring me for some reason.
He's busy doing something.
Well, yeah, that's right. That's right. He's my he's my beck and call boy, Ken.
That's right.
Isn't he supposed to be at my beck and call?
Well, he's got to be able to multitask.
So, Ken, you tell the story about your the old Elantra with no AC all the time. So I like to grump about my drive. It's the only bad part about living in beautiful Mount Pleasant, or as we're trying to get it. Now that I live in Mount Pleasant, there's a movement to rename Mount Pleasant, Ken.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, to Mount Grumpy. I'm not saying I support it. I'm saying it exists. I'm just saying that there are people out there. The folks are talking. People are talking. They're on the street. There's petitions going around. So the only negative thing about living in Mount Pleasant, it's a beautiful little hamlet. I love Columbia, love Murray County, love every part about it. The only part that kind of sucks is the drive. And so, occasionally I suck my thumb a little bit while I'm driving in or driving home that I have to drive as far as I do. Well, remember the old adage that the man with no shoes complained until he met the man with no feet. So today I get in my truck, and guess what I hear, Ken?
What's that?
Nothing. There's no audio in my vehicle.
Oh, no.
All of my vehicle audio is gone. Every bit of it. I can't make a telephone call through my truck. I can't hear satellite. I can't hear Sirius. I can't hear Chad on 99.7 FM. I can't hear our brother station, 104.5. Can't hear radio, terrestrial. Can't hear Sirius. Can't hear anything.
Screen showing?
Can't hear anything. It is acting like everything's fine.
Oh, man.
I know, Ken. And about 20 minutes into that drive, I thought, man, that drive wasn't so bad yesterday, was it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Boy, if you want to make a 55-minute drive worse, give it to me in silence. I just have to sit there and think my own thoughts. Ugh.
Man.
Oh, it'll be all right.
I had to do that one time on I-24.
Oh, no.
Yeah, in the Corolla that I had. For whatever reason, man, the stereo just went off. And there was just nothing. And it was just me and my 2010 Corolla.
Just in your thought. I mean, that's what it was me. That was me.
And driving at stupid o'clock on I-24.
Oh, man. 1221 wants to know if all of my tent is interfering with my audio. That's funny. That's fun. I like that. That's funny. That's pretty good. No, it's not 4110. It wasn't XM satellite. It's everything. It was the entire audio platform just went, and this has happened on the GMC before. I hope that it is not a similar malfunction. But yeah, I mean, let me tell you, I am a creature. I like to have background noise, boys. I love it. I want a radio on in the background. If I'm home, I typically have a radio on playing something, whether it's music or talk, whether it's Chris or Chad or Dan Mandis in the morning, or, if I don't have a radio on, I'll turn my television on and turn on Fox News, or I'll watch #NeverCNN so you guys don't have to, but that's on in the background while I'm doing show prep. There's always noise on in the background, in the Matt Murphy household. And so to have a completely silent vehicle as I'm driving in. And I really couldn't make telephone calls. I normally make a lot of calls on the way in.
Yeah, do your show prep.
Yeah, just scheduling guests and that sort of thing. Well, I really couldn't do that because I'm already on high alert because of the state trooper that, gave me the ticket for tent. The last thing I need is to get stopped for holding my phone because I don't have hands free.
Yeah.
Don't want all of that. So.
I had an interesting thing happen to me this morning on 24 on my way in.
Yeah.
I was getting angry with this person in front of me because they weren't going as fast as I wanted them to.
Yeah.
So I'm in the inside left lane, and we're doing like 70, 75. Well, that's not fast enough for me. So I pop it. I wait till this truck gets by me in the far left lane, and I pop behind him, and then just kind of make my point. I just slam on the gas in my little 2013 Elantra, go by this fella, and you know who was in front of him?
Who's that?
A state trooper.
I know. Don't you love those
I
feelings?
immediately just kind of humbled myself and drove right along with the state trooper at about 75 miles per hour.
Hello, sir. Hello, all. Hello. How are you? I'm just Ken Weaver, law-abiding citizen.
I didn't mean that, sir.
No, sir, not at all. I was just trying to alert you that I appreciate you doing your duty. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Fortunately, I think he got off at Haywood Lane or somewhere around there, and then everybody jacked it back up to about 80, 85.
It's so funny. I speed. Many of us do. But you ever been in a situation where you see a cop before the guy coming up behind you going 85,
Yes.
90 miles an hour speed, sees a cop? And for some reason, I don't know, it says a lot about the sour nature of my being, but I'm like, get him! I mean, does everybody do that?
Pull him over!
Get him! Hey, get him, maniac! George Carlin said it, kid. That everybody on the road driving faster than you is a maniac.
Yeah.
And everybody driving slower than you is a moron.
Yeah.
Will this moron get out of my way? Why isn't this moron going back? Look at this maniac driving that. He's like, I would say that everybody driving the same speed is normal, but I never see those people. Get it? See, you don't see them because they're driving the same speed as you.
There is one that it's been a couple of years ago, but there was one day on my way home. This is whenever I was still working mornings. A trooper was in the inside left lane on 24. He was going exactly 70 miles per hour,
Yep.
and so was everybody else behind him.
Yep.
And I looked over at him, and he's just smiling.
They know. I mean, they know. Not like they don't know. Oh, yeah. I appreciate the troopers that will tool along about 75 or 80 miles an hour.
Oh, yeah. Most of them do.
They're trying to do you a solid. Like, yeah, we know you guys want to go a little over the speed limit,
Right.
so let's get on down the road.
This guy was having fun. He knew what he was doing.
Slow down. Yeah, slow down. Well, the trooper that I passed with that gave me the ticket for 10, he was doing 65. I mean, that's why I passed him because, the speed limit was 70 and he was behind his truck. And I thought, well, maybe he's, dealing with the truck. Maybe he's about to pull the truck over and I passed him. I was going the speed limit. Everything's A-okay. And here we go with the blue lights. Woo!
Yeah. He said, I'm going to get this fella.
I told you I got that tent tested, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were illegal.
Oh, yeah. I was illegal. I paid the ticket.
Yeah.
I thought about there are ways to fight certain aspects of this. Number one, I don't think that police vehicles should have special exemptions for, and they are not supposed to have special exemptions. So we're probably going to fight that. And number two, there ought to be a provision in Tennessee law that if you sell a pre-owned vehicle that it has illegal tint on it, that you have to just make the buyer aware that the tint is illegal, because that's what happened to me. I bought in Tennessee, and nobody made me aware that the tent was illegal, but it turns out it was. One way or the other, I went ahead and made my donation to Williamson County Court for $193.50. It's the 50 cents that really gets me. I don't know why. 48 after the hour, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Stephen, what is going on in your world? How are you, sir?
Doing fine, thank you. Back in the day when Elvis passed, I lived in Kansas City. We drove around with our headlights on for about a week. Now, I'm not talking about your daylight running lights. I'm talking about your full headlights. That might be a nice tribute to Dolly.
Well, it certainly would. I think perhaps a little muted in the sense that most modern vehicles have their lights on all the time anyway now.
Right. So that's your daylight running lights, which are really kind of a double low beam. I'm talking about your full headlights, not high beams, just regular headlights.
Yeah. I don't dislike the idea. I never. Here's the thing, though, Steve. I just realized something. I can't remember the last time I touched my headlights. You know what I mean?
Probably why your radio's out. That's probably why your radio's out.
That's Stephen. That's an excellent point. Maybe I should get more involved with the operation of my motor vehicle.
You need to do a reboot. Turn everything off and then turn everything back on.
Well, I just no, Steve. That's a good. I mean, there ought to be some tribute that we ought to offer Dolly in the state of Tennessee, and I like the idea. I like the way you're thinking, Stephen. Headlights on for a week or so, just to pay tribute, to pay homage. I mean, similar in nature to when you see people go into a funeral. Oftentimes, those folks, they have their hazards on, and they'll also have their headlights on even during the daytime when they're running those lights. But to answer your question, Stephen, I feel like I've done a complete reboot as we speak. I turned my vehicle off and I locked it and I left it, and it's going to sit in the station parking lot for the next 4.5 hours. So I'm hoping that will be the reboot that is necessary to get my audio going again. If not, I got another trip to the GMC place. 51 after the hour, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, folks, it's Matt Murphy for Grace Point Healthcare. Modern medicine delivered the old-fashioned way, a direct pay primary care provider. What does that mean? That means that you pay Grace Point, and then you can file with your insurance company for reimbursement. This is the way that it ought to be, because the insurance company should not be dictating to your medical provider how they treat you. Let me say that one more time. Insurance companies should not be telling your medical provider what they can and cannot do to treat the symptoms that you're bringing in to the clinic. And they don't allow that to happen at Grace Point Healthcare. They don't believe in it. They believe in treating you as quickly as possible. They don't believe in you waiting in the waiting room when you get to Grace Point Healthcare, and they don't make you do that. What a wonderful facility it is in Franklin, by the way. 599-6868 if you'd like to make the call and make the appointment. 599-6868. But on the insurance front, here's the deal. They keep prices low. You know exactly what you pay. And with your Smart Care plan that you're able to sign up for with Grace Point Healthcare, you can pay through your HSA, and you don't have to worry about making payments when you come in for visits, because all of your visits throughout the course of the year are taken care of, plus free basic labs and diagnostics. Ask them about it when you make the call to 599-6868. It truly is modern medicine delivered the old-fashioned way.
Nashville Electric Service says it's taking steps to protect customers from higher electric bills tied to data centers. We'll tell you about that coming up at 4 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. That's the voice of Ken Weaver. News coming up in mere moments. Jackson Williams behind the glass. Give Jackson a call to make him feel better. He would love that. 615-737-9986. I love the way that Jackson gives me these looks when I'm picking on him. He gives me the you're number one look all the time there, Ken.
Well, just imagine what he's going to do when he's the gunner and his cabinet kicks him off.
Can you imagine? Let me tell you something. When we have Gunner Williams in the Gunner's mansion, there will be no technical difficulties. There will be no technical snafus.
No,
everything will run smooth.
Yes, sir.
Everything will be as cool as the other side of the pillow. I'm certain.
And his cabinet better bring him good news every time he requests an update on the progress of legislation.
Oh, yes. And I feel like there will only be one winner for Nincompoops in the News, and that will be Gonorrher Jackson Williams.
Gonorrher Jackson Williams.
Gonorrher J. Willie. No, you good. He's having none of it. He's mad. John is next in Bellevue. Hey, John, what's up?
Not much. I thought I'd give you a good story about Dolly Parton and ruffle some feathers with you at the same time.
Let's do it.
About 20 years ago, when I was on the police department here in Metro, I pulled over a full-size black SUV on 12th Avenue South, about 5% visibility on all windows except for the windshield. When the driver rolled down the window, it was a state trooper. And I told him who I was and why I pulled him over. I said, your window tint's way too dark. And he rolled down the back passenger window and he said, tell her that. And it was Dolly Parton sitting in the back behind him.
Well, John, what'd you say?
I said, well, y'all have a good day.
Dang it. John, I would have.
She has a recording studio over off of 12th Avenue South District. And that's why they were over there in the neighborhood.
That's hilarious. Y'all have a nice day.
You just didn't have the clout she did.
No, well, I mean, I don't know that most anybody has the clout that Dolly did. Dolly can get away with just about anything she wanted. I like it. That's pretty good, John. Thank you for the telephone call and thank you for the story. I bet Dolly could get away with almost any moving infraction she wanted to get away with. When we return, we'll share how some in the mainstream media try to pull Dolly into political activism, or at least demand that she offer political opinions on certain things, and she was having none of it. We'll do that coming up in just a moment. Plus, in the 4 o'clock hour, Attorney General Jonathan Skrmetti will talk about the significance of a settlement made between Tennessee, various other states, and Meta. It's a $17 billion settlement that requires Meta to change the manner in which they do their business for the younger generation. The youngsters that are online will be treated differently than others regarding their social media habits. We'll discuss that with Attorney General Jonathan Skrmetti at 4:35 on Super Talk 99.7 WT, and it's time for the news on Super Talk. Stand by.
4 o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. Nashville Electric Service says it's taking steps to protect customers from higher electricity bills tied to data centers. The utility says it's backing a new Tennessee Valley Authority rate structure that requires large data centers to pay more of the costs associated with the power and infrastructure they need. This new rate will take effect October 1st. It's expected to increase data center electric bills by about 10% over 3 years. Meanwhile, Channel 4's Hunter Hoagland says NES says it has ended its special response to the January ice storm.
That means the utility is back to its normal day-to-day operations. It's also, though, putting new measures in place to track how reliable the power grid is each month. As far as that full winter storm report goes, the final version of it should be finished sometime next spring.
President Trump's mail-in ballot executive order now free of all court-imposed restrictions, at least for now. A federal judge in Boston lifted the last remaining injunction, citing a recent Supreme Court ruling, but additional legal challenges are pending. And the man convicted in the stabbing deaths of 4 University of Idaho students getting another day in court next year. A judge set a hearing in June to review Brian Koberger's request to withdraw his guilty plea and seek a trial, claiming his attorneys used coercion, false promises, and withheld evidence to persuade him to plead guilty. And Tennessee is getting a major payday from a nationwide settlement targeting teen social media addiction. The state share tops $751 million from a $17 billion agreement reached with Meta. Officials say the money will support children's mental health and online safety initiatives across Tennessee. The settlement also requires daily usage limits for young users and gives parents more tools to monitor activity on Instagram and Facebook. We get more from ABC's Elizabeth Schulze.
What we're looking at here is an agreement that effectively concedes that some of the design features on these apps got young users addicted, and the states had claimed that that contributed to harming the mental health of these young users, and now Meta will be forced to make these changes.
Entertainment news as the world mourns the passing of Dolly Parton. Fans around the world mourning actor Tim Curry. It was announced he died today at the age of 80, star of the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and here he is as Wadsworth in Clue.
We're trying to find out who killed him, and where, and with what. There's no need to shout. I'm not shouting! All right, I am.
News of Curry's death prompted tributes celebrating a career that lasted nearly 6 decades. Meanwhile, here in Middle Tennessee, Dolly's family carrying out her wish for a small private funeral service. The family requesting donations to her children's literacy charity in lieu of flowers. Here's ABC's Hannah Battah.
Dolly's philanthropy extended far beyond education. When Whitney Houston sang, "I Will Always Love You,"
Sylvan Park, it looks like they're about to clear this crash. 440 westbound past a Murphy Road. Talbot's Corner still got a crash on the right shoulder. 24 westbound before the 65 at North Split. Blackman area of Rutherford County got an overturned vehicle. This is 840 eastbound right there at 24. Over by the airport, they're about to clear the crash. Murfreesboro Pike at Kermit Drive. Also Nolensville Pike at Brewer Drive. In Hermitage, a wreck. Old Hickory Boulevard at Andrew Jackson Parkway. I'm Ken Weaver.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN, Matt Murphy, The Matt Murphy Show. 4 o'clock hour begins right now. It's 4:07. Thank you for being with us. You may give us a call if you so desire. 615-737-9986. 615-737-9986. We appreciate each and every one of your telephone calls. It was a pretty incredible show yesterday. You can find that, by the way, several of you are asking. You can find on any variety of our platforms. I mean, if you go to 997WTN.com, which is our website, you click on shows, you click on Matt Murphy, and there's every hour of yesterday's broadcast. You can also find it on YouTube. On that platform, it's right there and available for you, and on a variety of other streaming apparatus. But those are the two easiest ways. Go to the website, 997WTN.com, click on shows, click on Matt Murphy, and you'll see all of the hours of yesterday's broadcast and just about every broadcast we do in the audio format. If you want video, you can join us on the YouTube channel, supertalk997wtn.com, where all of our shows are archived on our video platform. So that's how you can achieve that. Lots of guests yesterday, lots of telephone calls yesterday, and we continue the telephone calls today as well. Young Jackson, I don't mean to distract you. I know you're very busy in there with whatever it is you're doing, making sure that your cheese gets put back in the proper location. How's that going, by the way? Everything going well? Okay. What is the... I need some sports knowledge on the radio show, please. It might even qualify as an Action Jackson Sports Minute.
What sport?
It's football. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for yet another Action Jackson Sports Minute on the Matt Murphy Show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Here we go. So, Jackson, what is the ESPN bottom line?
Oh, it's that thing when you're watching games on ESPN. It's the...
It's like the ticker?
Yes.
It goes across the bottom of the screen, letting you know, like, big sports things that are going on. Or
yeah,
scores.
like let's say you're watching, Florida, Alabama. You can say, oh, Tennessee beats Georgia 59-0 as that game enters the second quarter.
When are we watching this? During the Ray Goff era? Is that when we were watching this?
Who the hell is that?
Yeah, exactly.
That he was playing when you were growing up?
Exactly. That's when Tennessee would regularly beat Georgia back in the 1990s. 1990s.
I was hoping he'd be from like the...
Jim Donnan, maybe. I think Tennessee beat Donnan a couple of times. Not so much with, Rick every once in a while. But anyway.
Oh, we had Rick's number.
Toward the end, everybody had. I mean, twice a year, you could almost guarantee it. So is this a big deal, Jackson? Big deal or no big deal? Apparently, ESPN is removing the bottom line score ticker during college football broadcasts this season, and apparently people are upset by this.
It's just so classic. Like when you think of ESPN, you think of that little thing.
Well, I mean, I get it, I suppose. Yeah. Some are saying that it's just, and I'm just quoting now, another example of ESPN bastardizing something that we grew up with and deeply love in college football. Gosh, I don't know that we need to be that nasty.
Somebody's angry.
Somebody's very upset about this. I mean, I'm reading from an article.
Well, their
here.
cheese got touched.
I felt like perhaps this was a good day to bring this up because you can kind of identify with things changing for seemingly no reason.
Yeah, I can.
So they're removing this because everybody's got a phone and no one needs to wait for the ESPN ticker to tell them what the score of a game that they're not watching is, I guess. ESPN says that they're doing so to streamline the game watching experience. In case you missed the news, ESPN getting rid of its bottom line score ticker during college football broadcast. Yahoo Sports reported it first. The network trying to streamline college football viewer experience for fans, removing the ticker from all of its broadcast of the sport across its variety of different platforms. ESPN's already gotten rid of the bottom line during live broadcasts such as the college football playoff and NBA postseason, and now they're getting rid of it altogether.
Here's the thing.
Yeah?
If you're watching the college football playoffs, you don't need to know the other scores because it's a standalone national broadcast. There are no other scores of interest. College football, there's 100 games on every Saturday. So you want to see what's going on across the country, and you can't see it other than when twice a game they do these studio updates where they show you like 3 out of the other 100 games going on, and you can't see what's going on. So like, let's say you were interested in a specific game or you had money on a specific game, but you were watching, your team was playing at the same time, so you weren't watching. You didn't have the multi-view, so you were watching and you just wanted to see, what the score is. Now you got to look at your phone.
See, silly me. I thought Jackson would have an opinion on this.
It's socialist.
Tell us how you really... You know what? Now that we start thinking about it and talking about it, I think I'm going to miss it more than I think I'm going to miss it when the game goes on. And I don't have the ability to check those scores because it was so easy. You're watching your game and you just happen to see one scroll by and, look at there, LSU's beating whoever, whatever it might be.
Oh, Georgia's losing again. It's time to text Matt. Chase Elliott's in 36. DNF.
Excuse me. I need to talk to Ken for a minute. Hey, Ken.
Yes, sir.
Why do you think Jackson, when someone hurts Jackson,
Yes.
right? For some reason, Jackson wants to hurt me. And I don't know. I've done nothing. I'm just an innocent bystander here, Ken. I'm catching strays. The engineering department hurts Williams. And
that's fixed now. Now I'm mad about this.
Well, why don't you hurt Weaver? Why don't you lash out at Weaver every once in a while?
Look at that face. Could you lash out at that face?
That's fair.
Yeah, it's got a big old beard on it.
That's
it's like yelling at a garden gnome.
I think that was kind of mean, too.
Yeah, that might have been me lashing out at Weaver. See what you did, Matt Murphy.
I really do think I'm the exact opposite of Dolly Parton. Matt Murphy, Dolly spreads love and kindness and generosity and just humility. Matt Murphy spreads ego and anger and meanness. Frustration. All throughout the great state of Tennessee. Speaking of Dolly, Joe is next. What's up, Joe? How are you?
I'm good. Yesterday I was kind of devastated when I heard Ken break the news. I grew up in Antioch when it was still cool, and Dolly lived 3 houses up from me. Her husband owned a paving company. My dad had a Gulf gas station. Her husband kept all the equipment behind my dad's gas station. Long story short, Carl Dean and my dad were good friends, and until I was probably 12 years old, we went up to Brentwood when they moved out there, and I visited them a couple times, and lost touch with her and Carl Dean, and I was at a restaurant called Texana Grill. It's long gone now, and I was walking out of the bathroom, and Carl Dean's walking in, and I said, "Carl Dean," and he looked at me like I was a crazy guy because nobody knows who he is. I said, "I'm Joe Young, John Young's son." He goes, "Stay right here. I'll be right back." He comes out of the bathroom and goes, "Who you here with us?" I'm just sitting at a bar with a friend. He goes, "We're sitting down here, but we're kind of undercover. She'd like to see you." I sit down across from Dolly Parton. She's got no makeup on, no wig, and I start laughing. And she says, "What are you laughing at?" I said, "You realize you're the Gene Simmons of country music?" And she just died laughing at that moment. I've told that story to my wife a dozen times, and we watched a documentary with Dolly, and she said an old neighbor friend of mine called me the Gene Simmons of country music, and my wife punched me. Buddy, and we need to start referring to her as Saint Dolly because they got to make her a saint.
She deserves it, brother. Absolutely. She deserves it.
Absolutely.
That's a great story, my friend. I'm glad you shared it. Thank you. Thank you so
and
much.
I've got the code for the airport name now. We call it Dolly Parton International Airport, and the code for the airport, instead of B&A, we just got to change one letter, BRA. It'll fit Dolly perfect.
Oh, I like that too.
Wow.
I like it. I get it. Thanks, Joe. I appreciate that. I like it. That's better than the one I came up with yesterday, I suppose. For those interested in the latest news, I mean, obviously, there's a good amount of curiosity. Dolly Parton's death yesterday was it was the culmination of what was described as a brief bout with cancer, according to statements from her family. After bravely facing a brief battle with cancer, Dolly departed the earthly life today. Vanderbilt Ingram Cancer Center, surrounded by loved ones, the family shared. And now the family's saying, as Ken Weaver's been reporting this afternoon, that the expectation is there will be a private service. And I want to say didn't I see where she will be interred at Woodlawn Cemetery? I believe that's right, in a mausoleum there. Carl Dean's already there. And if I'm not mistaken, memory serves me correctly, I saw a photograph this morning where her name was already, beside Carl's name. There's the Dean family, and then Carl Dean's there, and Dolly Parton is over to the left side, and her name was already there. Obviously, the date of death was not there, but she will be interred at Woodlawn Cemetery here in Nashville, Tennessee. Dr. Kristen Higgins, Chief Clinical Officer at City of Hope Cancer Center in Atlanta, said that Parton may have preferred people to remember her for her career, not for the diagnosis. I mean, obviously, we don't need that. Yeah, I mean, obviously, there was a private side to Dolly Parton, and she wanted to keep it that way, and rightly so. She wanted to keep her political views, a little audio video, please, wanted to keep her political views to herself as well. Despite the mainstream media desperate to try to drag it out of her, she maintained her political neutrality throughout the course of her life, maintaining to anyone asking that, of course, she has viewpoints on it, but of course she's not going to do those things necessarily to annoy one side or the other. Here's what she had to say on ABC's Nightline a few years ago regarding Donald J. Trump.
We have a president of the United States who said those things on that bus.
I'm not addressing that. I do not get into that. Of course, I have my opinion about everybody and everything. But I learned a long time ago, keep your damn mouth shut if you want to stay in show business. I'm not in politics. I'm an entertainer.
And yet, you're also a role model.
Yes, I am. That's why I don't talk about people. So if you are deciding you may want to ask me something more serious, don't, because I'm not going to answer.
Fair one. I might still ask.
Well, you can ask, but I might still tell you where to put it if I don't know where you got it.
I'd say I love that. I might still tell you where to put it. That's Dolly Parton. The media wanted to drag it out of her, and she was having none of it. It's 420 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for Contours LLC. Contours is good people. I love that Keith and the Contours team are trying to help people just like you, just like me, lose a little bit of weight and lose inches around your midsection. And I was just alerted to this. Keith and I were talking about this earlier today. At Contours, they want to incentivize you to coming on in and seeing what they have to offer with the red light technology. And with that in mind, Contours LLC is offering a pretty special opportunity for you to get in and see what they can do for you for the red light technology. Bottom line is this. If you go in, you make a call and you say, I heard about them with Matt Murphy on Super Talk 99.7 WTN, and tell them that I promised you that during your first session that you will lose more inches around your... I lost 3 inches, just under 3 inches around my midsection. And right now, for $99, you get in, and they'll guarantee you that you will lose more inches around your midsection than Matt Murphy or your first treatment is at no cost to you. How about that? First 10 callers do this, and that's the bottom line. So you call right now to Contours LLC, and don't worry, I'm going to give you that telephone number in just a second. You call right now to Contours LLC, and the first 10 callers, you say, Matt says that I'll lose more than him, or the first treatment is free, and they'll sign you up. $99 for that first treatment, and it's nothing if you don't lose more than me. 615-236-9960. Call today, 615-236-9960, or online, contoursllc.com. What do you have to lose but inches? Hey, friends, it's Matt Murphy for the Beckman Dry Eye Institute. I'm so pleased to be able to talk with you about Dr. Catherine Beckman and her incredible opportunity that is in front of you with the Dry Eye Institute. Let's discuss. Ocular surface disease is something that impacts 13% of the general population. 1 in 8 people will deal with it. Now, you might not think of it that way. You might just think of it as dry eyes, or your eyes don't produce the tears that they're supposed to, or constant itchy eyes, maybe the need to medicate with eye drops or some other form of medication. Bottom line is this: at the Dry Eye Institute, they're here to put a permanent end to those issues. All it takes is a telephone call, and you can eliminate the need for over-the-counter medications. Beckman Dry Eye Institute can help. 629-230-3161. 629-230-3161, or online at beckmandryeyeinstitute.com. Call Dr. Catherine today. Allow her to talk with you and schedule an appointment with her. I know you'll be happy that you did. The Beckman Dry Eye Institute, your initial consultation, let me send you over there, and I promise you, you'll be pleased that you went to the Beckman Dry Eye Institute.
Nashville Electric Service says they're going to protect customers from AI data center charges. We'll tell you about it at 4:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Man, when Bill Gates is warning us about AI, we might want to listen up. I thought that guy was evil. Apparently, he's offering a warning or two. Plus, there's a report that the Secret Service is leaking on the Donald. We'll discuss that, as well as a few other stories coming out of Washington, D.C. That's on the way. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Joey is next up on the Matt Murphy Show. Hello, Joey.
Hello. How are you?
Doing well, Joey. I hope you are.
I'm fantastic. Just sad to hear about Miss Dolly.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I don't know if anybody's told this story, and if they have, you can cut me off and move on to somebody else, because nobody wants to hear rehash. A friend of mine is a studio musician, has been here since the 60s, and was telling me about the time that she was recording with Pig Robbins. And she came in the studio that day and had a low-cut top on, and all the other musicians told Pig, if there was ever a day in your life you needed to be able to see, it's today. Because, Pig was blind.
Mm-hmm.
And she got wind of it, and she went over and sat down beside him at the piano and said, Pig, I heard what they said, and I think it's very mean. And she grabbed both of his hands and just rubbed all over him.
Joey, you there?
Yeah, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. So
okay. So anyway, she grabbed both of his hands. She said that she thought what they said was mean, and she grabbed both of Pig's hands and rubbed them all over her chest.
Well, my goodness gracious. I have not heard that story, Joey. That's quite something.
That's quite Dolly.
Well, I appreciate the story. I didn't know I didn't know there was another side to it, or if there was a punchline or not. But I guess not. Man, oh man, Dolly Parton. She was quite something, and obviously she was well aware of her assets and well aware of her ability to use that which God gave her. I mean, I think it was Ricky Skaggs that said it yesterday on the show that she took the gifts that God gave her, all of the gifts that God gave her, and she managed to package it up and turn it around and give it back in any number of incredible ways. We mentioned the Porter Wagner story where Porter sued her. They eventually settled out of court, and then later on in life, he was financially destitute. She bought his music catalog and then gave the music catalog back to him. Didn't have to do that. I mean, story after story of this type of generosity, and just what a wonderful woman she was. All told, the reports are, and I don't know that we know this for certain. We will probably never know exactly what the amount of her estate would be. But according to trusted sources, her estimated worth was about $650 million. However, those same sources and others indicate that over the time of her life, publicly, Dolly Parton gave away some $500 million or thereabouts. That is not accounting for many of the private stories that we've heard anecdotally from you, and we've heard, any number of them directly, and then, of course, indirectly through social media platforms and whatnot. You hear stories about her giving nature, and those were, quote-unquote, off-the-book gifts. So $500 million is probably just sort of the beginning. I mean, just the Imagination Library alone would be a legacy that you would always be remembered for, but every other aspect of her life is just a pretty wonderful thing. I'm looking at this story, and it's a very sad one. I just want to make note of it, and I know that we've been talking about it throughout the course of the day via the news, but it is on the other side of the world. But if you've seen some video of the flooding that's happening in Nepal and China, it has killed at least 160 people, left hundreds of tourists, workers, and others missing, swept through communities, brought travel in some areas to a halt. I mean, some of these images look so insane, you would think that they are CGI. If you've seen any of them on your social media platforms. Police in Nepal have reported at least 157 people dead. China reporting 3 with 265 missing. One would expect that is a woefully low count. But I mean, I understand that it is on the other side of the world, but just the images behind this in Nepal, 403 people, including 341 foreign nationals, were reported missing. A lot of them tourists. 133 from India on a pilgrimage to Tibet, which is sacred for Hindus. Also missing 47 from the United States of America, 34 from Australia, 33 from Great Britain, 24 from Canada. State Department aware of Americans affected. At least 62 Nepali citizens were among those trekking to an area which was hard hit in the Tibet region, coinciding with a festival. Just awful. On the other side of the world, surely, but worthy of our prayers, no doubt about that. It's 4:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
4:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. As AI data centers continue to expand, Nashville Electric Service says its customers will not be stuck with the bill. NES says it's supporting TVA's new data center rate plan, which requires large power users to cover more of the costs they place on the electrical system. The revised rate structure takes effect this fall. And the Trump administration temporarily pausing immigrant visa interview appointments at U.S. embassies and consulates around the world. State Department says the move will allow consular officers to complete additional training on determining whether applicants could become dependent on public assistance programs. And the Trump administration winning a significant victory in its effort to reshape how mail-in ballots are handled, but it could be short-lived. A federal judge today removed the final injunction blocking the implementation of the president's executive order, but lawsuits are pending. And more than $750 million headed to Tennessee after Meta agreed to a $17 billion settlement with states across the country that had accused it of addicting teenagers and hurting mental health. Tennessee officials say the state's share will be dedicated to protecting young people online. Jim Ryan says the agreement includes new requirements such as stronger age checks, limits on late-night use, and tighter controls for parents.
Going forward, kids under 18 will be limited by the apps themselves to only 2 hours of screen time per day on Facebook and Instagram, and none overnight or during school hours. In a statement, Meta said, quote, "We want to get this right for parents and teens." And it urged TikTok and YouTube to adopt similar changes to their platforms.
Now the entertainment world remembering Tim Curry following his death at age 80. Curry's performances range from the flamboyant Dr. Frankenfurter to the sinister Pennywise.
Come on up, Richie. I got a balloon for you.
After suffering a debilitating stroke in 2012, Curry continued making select appearances and voice acting contributions, but his health never really improved. And Dolly Parton's family plans a private funeral while asking fans to share tributes and support her charitable causes. ABC's Hannah Battah with a closer look at Dolly Parton, the humanitarian.
As she remained deeply rooted in her Southern Christian upbringing, she embraced the LGBTQ+ community, endorsing same-sex marriage. Joking, they should suffer just like the rest of us.
I keep saying, well, if you're the fine Christian that you think you are, why are you judging people?
But she stayed out of politics, even turning down the Presidential Medal of Freedom twice.
That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, we got a big problem on 40 westbound west of Nashville. This is in Dixon County. 40 westbound is closed between 840 and Centerville-Dixon exit 172. This is for a crash. In the Blackman area of Rutherford County, an overturned vehicle blocking the left lane, 840 eastbound. They're at 24. BNA, an accident, 40 eastbound before Briley Parkway East. And in the South Loop, we've got a crash 40 westbound right there at the 2440 downtown split. I'm Ken Weaver.
Hey friends, Matt Murphy for King and Associates Insurance. Automobile rates are great at King and Associates Insurance. Obviously, they're helping you with your homeowners as well. But let's talk to you business owners for just a moment about the possibility of them helping you with some commercial insurance. They can do it at King & Associates Insurance. If you own a business, one claim can cost you everything. You know that. And there's two types of insurance agencies. One type that sell you policies, the other type that protects businesses, and they protect businesses at King & Associates. They take a different approach. Before they quote anything, they analyze your exposure, talk to you about risk, workers' comp, coverage gaps. Many agents miss these things. They don't miss them at King & Associates because when a claim happens, they understand that the difference isn't price. It's whether you're covered or not. From contractors to professional services, local businesses across Tennessee, they help business owners at King & Associates Insurance make informed decisions. So if you own a business, give a call to King & Associates Insurance, 615-329-8121, 329-8121, King & Associates Insurance, online at tkinginsurance.com, protecting what matters most. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It is the Matt Murphy Show. It is the day after we learned the very sad news about the passing of Dolly Parton at the age of 80. We continue to remember Dolly throughout the course of the day. If you have any thoughts, memories, questions, comments, 615-737-9986, 615-737-9986. There is other news going on, and pretty significant news for the state of Tennessee. Earlier today, Attorney General Jonathan Skrmetti announced a landmark $17.1 billion multi-state settlement with Meta Platforms, one of the largest state consumer protection settlements in our state's history. In addition to the payment, Meta is now required to implement a sweeping set of unprecedented safety features to Protect Children on Instagram and Facebook to speak about this settlement, to speak about some of the changes Meta is expected to make. We welcome back to the show the Attorney General of the state of Tennessee, Jonathan Skrmetti. AG, good afternoon. Welcome. How are you?
Thank you. Having a good day.
Yeah, you are. I mean, we're all having a pretty good day, particularly those of us concerned about child safety online, especially when it comes to social media platforms. Give us the background. Tell us the impetus of this lawsuit, how all of this came together, and then we'll get into the settlement.
Yeah, so, I mean, a few years ago, whistleblowers started coming out of Meta and saying, hey, we're really concerned about the impact that these platforms are having on kids. And at the same time, researchers were looking into this. And if you look at the statistics, the last generation just got walloped in terms of mental health, right? Anxiety, depression, sleep deprivation, suicidality, all of these metrics of mental health were terrible for that cohort. And a lot of the experts and Meta's own internal research said that a big contributor to that was social media. The platforms are designed to be addictive. They want people on there as many seconds as they can get them. And so there's all sorts of really sophisticated neuroscience where they're figuring out, exactly how to trigger dopamine responses optimally and everything. And it was just wrecking kids whose brains are very susceptible to that stuff. So a lot of states started looking at it. Tennessee and Colorado started coordinating a big effort with all the states to investigate this and roll out a litigation strategy. We sued. Colorado was part of another consolidated federal suit. A few other states sued. And all of that was done with the idea of fixing the problem. We don't want to shake down a big company. We want to protect kids. And so we had a trial. We've been in trial for about the last 6 weeks in Nashville, putting on these whistleblowers, putting on experts in childhood development, in neuroscience, and all these different topics, putting on people who understand the technology and who can testify to how Meta was very deliberate in creating a product that was intentionally addictive, even knowing the harm that did to kids. And as a result of that trial, and as a result of the trial in California, the company was pretty under the gun. They came to the table. And we got a record-setting deal here. I mean, the money is amazing by consumer protection standards. This is the biggest big tech settlement, not just in the U.S., but in world history. But even more important are these changes to the platform that's going to dramatically improve the experience for kids.
So, AG, what specifically about the Meta platform was, I'm just curious, why make the distinction between kids and adults if there's an intentional effort on the part of Meta and its subsidiaries to addict the end consumer without the end consumer knowing or without the end consumer becoming aware? In other words, could I not make the case that this could be expanded to include everybody, not just children?
You could. I think that the issue here is a lot of the representations about safety that were made in the context of kids. And kids' brains really are different. I mean, they're developing, and so things that have a little bit of an impact on an adult brain can have a really big impact on a kid's brain. And so the harms are much bigger. And we're able to point to the mental health crisis of the young generation, whereas with adults, yeah, it's not good. They need to tell the truth about what the platform's doing. They need to, give people real options for controlling their access to the platform. But adults are a lot more responsible for what happens to themselves. And, given the magnitude of the harm to the kids, that's where the priority was.
Well, and obviously, I mean, the settlement is a big deal, $17.1 billion. It's a multi-state settlement. What should Tennessee expect as our share of that settlement, and what is your expectation as to what Tennessee will do with that money?
So there's a guaranteed $530 million to Tennessee as a result of this deal. It can go up to $751 million. If we get the rest of the industry on board, that means YouTube, TikTok, and Snap. I think it's very realistic that we will be able to do that. So my expectation is we're getting the full $751 million. Of that money, the overwhelming majority is going to what's called the Children's Digital Protection Fund. This is something the legislature set up last session that says if my office collects money from a technology company for harms to children, then it has to be used for purposes related to protecting kids. So it's got to go to kids' mental health or law enforcement with respect to laws that protect kids online, or to research into the intersection of kids and technology, or into education about technology. So it's going to go toward addressing the problem. This is a payment spread over 10 years, and I expect that money is going to fund really useful programming to help undo some of the damage that Meta did and to make sure that we are more resilient in the face of new technologies that try to exploit the vulnerabilities in kids' brains. I mean, I'm not anti-technology. Tennessee's a very pro-business, pro-innovation state, but we got to protect our kids from the downside of it. And I think the resources from this case are going to equip us to do that very effectively.
I want to ask you about that in just a moment, and we're speaking with Attorney General Jonathan Skrmetti about a landmark settlement that came down earlier today, announced by his office and a number of other states around the country. Talk to me about some of the other provisions of the settlement. In addition to the money that will go, as you described it, to a fund that will be designed to protect children in a variety of ways, there are also things that the Meta organization has agreed to do. Talk to me about those.
Yeah, I mean, these are really significant changes. You know, we looked into all the stuff that they've done, and in our trial, we had witnesses testify about the different features of the platform that were causing these problems. And the changes that they have to make are aligned with fixing the problem. So they have to have daily time limits on kids' use. They have to have a break at nighttime, 12 to 6, so kids can't get on. They have a break in notifications during the school day. They have what's called a productive pause. So if someone's just sitting there scrolling for, a half hour, 45 minutes, they get a nudge partway through that to say, hey, do you really need to be sitting there in front of your phone for this long? Because we've seen that, the amount of time that they spend on the platform is part of the problem. The lack of sleep is part of the problem. Some of the content that they're getting is a problem. So for girls, these filters that would make people look prettier were causing real self-image issues. And a lot of girls had eating disorders and suicidality as a result of thinking they were uglier than everybody else because what they saw online wasn't the same as reality. So those filters are turned off for kids. Some of the other features that were designed to hook kids and get them to pay a lot of attention and feel driven to continue engaging with the platform are being softened. And the big thing for parents is the parental controls are a lot more transparent. They're a lot more effective. I think the best thing that you can do as a parent once these are in place is go in and turn off the algorithmic feed, because the algorithm is designed to be addictive. A lot of kids have a lot of pressure to get on these platforms so they can keep up with what their friends are doing. But if you just have a chronological feed where all you get are the posts that are put up by the people that you're connected with, then the addiction mechanism isn't there. You're able to stay connected with your friends without the dark psychological downside of becoming consumed by the app. So all these changes are going to make it better for kids.
Well, and I want to and I know you a long time, Jonathan, and I have such respect for what you and your office does. And I'm not arguing with you, but I'm just asking a genuine question here. At what point is it not a parent's responsibility to do this? I mean, what is next? Should the state of Tennessee sue the Cartoon Network for providing cartoons 24 hours a day without any limitations? Or should we sue sugary cereal advertisers for advertising sugary cereal during those cartoons? I mean, what makes this different than those two examples that I just gave you with regard to the state's intervention?
So there are two big distinguishing factors here. The first is the company was lying to parents and saying this platform's safe when they knew it wasn't. We have all sorts of internal communications along the lines of, wow, this is really bad for kids. Wow, look at the harm this is doing. Looking at the data and recognizing that the way the platform was designed was causing those harms. The other thing is, the level of sophistication here, right? The Cartoon Network puts on cartoons that people want to watch, and people watch it. And maybe I'm naive. I don't know that they have, an army of neuroscientists and, millions and millions of A/B tests to figure out exactly how, to a really high degree of certitude, they can manipulate what people are encountering on their product to get them more addicted. So the personalized, hyper sophisticated approach that this company took is more than people can keep up with. It's not just a matter of saying, here's something you like. I mean, they're finding every little hook. But parents need to be able to make an informed choice. And if it's a parent up against a technology company that's covering up what the platform's doing to the kids, that's hard for a parent to do. This is a $1 trillion company with very sophisticated people in every position. The changes that are in place now are going to make the parental controls a lot more transparent and effective. So instead of having functionally, a Potemkin program where they can say that they're giving parents the power to fix things, but they know it's not really working and it's not intended to work, now parents really are going to have the opportunity to control the nature of their kids' experience with this platform. So, I think there's a huge parental role, but when the company is undermining the ability of the parents to effectively take care of their kids and make the decisions, that's a problem.
Is there a consideration from your office? I understand that we're celebrating what is clearly a victory for you in your office, but at the same time, if the design of these platforms are so negative, especially for our youngsters, I know that some countries have decided just to eliminate social media for anyone under a certain age. Has your office looked into any of that in terms of advice given to the General Assembly? I understand that it is your position to enforce the laws as passed by the General Assembly, but you also offer advice to many of those folks over in the GA. Any thoughts on the idea of this being harmful enough to rise to the level of considering whether or not it should be illegal for young people to go to the platform at all?
I kind of favor an iterative approach here. I think legislation ultimately is better, right? Like Senator Blackburn has been working with Senator Blumenthal to try to pass the Kids Online Safety Act, which would set really clear standards for these companies and provide a duty of care. And in the long run, that's the best way to solve these problems. But Congress is really slow. In the meantime, there's kids getting hurt. The AGs are going to act. We've got a really good deal here that looks like it may solve a lot of the problem. And rather than being heavy-handed and coming in and banning things when there's the possibility of a much lighter touch from the government that nevertheless fixes the harms and lets the company continue to provide opportunities for folks to make choices about what they want to do, I think we should be hesitant to take the most heavy-handed approach.
Fair enough. AG, congratulations on the victory yourself amongst other states who secured the $17.1 billion settlement with Meta. We appreciate you explaining some of that for us today and look forward to the conversation with the listening audience about what's next in terms of Facebook and some of the parameters that have been put on Facebook, Instagram, and these other platforms potentially. Thank you for being on with us today.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you.
All right, take care. There's AG Jonathan Skrmetti. I appreciate Jonathan. I appreciate his position on the issue. I appreciate him expressing that position. I'm just not entirely sold that this isn't a parental issue more so than it is an issue for Meta to pay out money to the state so that the state can become involved. It just feels like the state's getting bigger as a result of this, more involved in the daily lives of parenting, where the parents are absolved of those responsibilities that they would normally take on regarding whether or not their kids should be allowed to utilize this technology. At the same time, I appreciate what Jonathan says when he says that the technologies are such where parents can't really figure out what's addictive, what's not, what's truth, and what is fiction coming out of the Meta platform. 54 after the hour. Your thoughts on this coming up. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for Efficient Heating and Cooling. So it seems odd for me to do this in August, but I'm going to go ahead and start it. I told you I would start it soon, and here it goes. Might want to go ahead and mark your calendar at some point in September to make a call to Efficient Heating and Cooling and get on their list of individuals that have them come out and check the heater out for a time when it will get a little cool and you want to turn that heat on. You never want to do that without the maintenance check from Efficient Heating and Cooling. Once a year check on the heater, once a year check on the AC. That's the way we get it done. Why? Because you want to avoid that dust and that dander and that, that smell. You know when you turn the heater on the first time for a year and you smell that smell? You shouldn't smell that smell. That smell means there's stuff going in your nostrils that ought not to go there. You need to get Efficient Heating and Cooling out, get them to clean that unit, make sure that everything's running on the up and up. Now, if the AC goes out during these hot conditions, and we'll still have some heat coming into September and even into October, you need to call Jeff Eddy and Efficient Heating and Cooling for any and all of your AC needs. If it's time to replace, they're an Elite Pro partner with Rheem. They could help you out with that. They can also assist you in terms of opportunities for financing. That's available for you if it's time to replace that unit. Efficient Heating and Cooling at efficienthvac.net, efficienthvac.net, or call 615-784-4424.
A live look. 5 o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. Tennessee set to receive nearly $752 million as part of a $17 billion multi-state settlement with Meta. The money to go toward addressing what Tennessee Attorney General Jonathan Skrmetti tells WTN's Matt Murphy is the damage done to kids.
You look at the statistics. You know, the last generation just got walloped in terms of mental health, right? Anxiety, depression, sleep deprivation, suicidality, all of these metrics of mental health were terrible.
Under the deal, Meta must strengthen age verification, limit overnight use, and add safeguards against bullying and self-harm content. The surge in electricity demand from AI data centers is prompting changes at the Tennessee Valley Authority. And today, Nashville Electric Services Board says those changes are going to help protect its customers. Channel 4's Lydia Fielder says the board joined TVA's new rate specifically targeting large data center operations, requiring them to pay a greater share of the costs created by their needs.
If you are an NES customer, you're paying about 13 cents per kilowatt hour right now. But tech and industrial companies have been paying less than half of that at just 6 cents per kilowatt. So the TVA and NES are creating a special rate class so that data centers pay all of the infrastructure costs that they create. For tech companies, that means an upfront $1.5 million infrastructure fee per megawatt and a 10% rate increase over the next 3 years.
The new pricing structure starts October 1st. Immigration update. Applicants seeking immigrant visas to the United States facing new delays now that the State Department is pausing interview appointments worldwide for more training on how to identify people who are more likely to be in need of public assistance if they get here. Officials have not provided a timeline for when those appointments will be reinstated. And no longer any court orders blocking President Trump's mail-in voting executive order, at least for now. Election-related lawsuits challenging the finalized rules remain active in federal court. Actor Tim Curry has died at the age of 80. Curry, best known for his iconic role as Dr. Frankenfurter in the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and later as Pennywise in the television adaptation of Stephen King's It.
Come on up, Richie. I got a balloon for you.
Reports say Curry died last night at his Los Angeles home after dealing with health problems for more than a decade following a 2012 stroke. And Dolly Parton's family is encouraging fans to honor her memory through donations to the Imagination Library. They say that they're going to honor her wishes for a small private funeral. Here's ABC's Sophie Flay.
Way back in 1982, what she would want her tombstone to say.
I want the tombstone to say, she should be lying here. I don't know where she went.
Dolly chose the song for her funeral, an old gospel hymn, her father's favorite.
If we never meet again, this side of heaven, then I'll meet you on that beautiful shore.
That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, we got a crash on 40 going westbound west of Nashville. That is a problem because it is closed there between exits 176 and 172. Well, timeout. It was closed. Now it's moved off to the right shoulder. It's just taking some time to get back up to speed there. Also, look for an accident over by the airport, 40 eastbound before Briley Parkway. We got a crash Murfreesboro Pike at Foothill Drive, Nolensville Pike at Thompson Lane. I'm Ken Weaver.
All righty, friends. Here we go. Halfway home. Matt Murphy Show. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Some rain in and around the Middle Tennessee area. You know, I say that. I say that. I've not looked at the weather forecast, and I've not looked at the radar in the last hour or so. What do you got over there, Ken Weaver? We got
What's
some rain.
the real
going on?
feels?
Oh, jeez.
Well, right now, radar is showing the rain is almost out of Middle Tennessee, boys. It is well south and east of Nashville. The heaviest rain falling in Middle Tennessee right now is going to be right there just west of Winchester. So Estelle Springs, Deckard, and Winchester, Cowan, y'all are in the path of some moderate showers. Nothing like it was before. We had some severe thunderstorm warnings earlier today. Back there in Marshall, Giles, and Lawrence counties, but those have long since expired. Just got some scattered rain now, some light rain between Smyrna and Murfreesboro. All of this activity is to the southeast of Nashville, and it is moving away to the east.
Had us a good old-fashioned frog strangler earlier in Mount Pleasant, Ken.
What's a frog strangler?
That's that's if the frogs look up at the weather, they're going to strangle on the
That's
nasty.
not strangling, that's choking.
Well,
actually, it's drowning.
So
it'd be a frog drowner.
I'm happy that you've decided to start participating in the show today, Jackson.
Brother Jackson feels better.
He must. What got you off your bad mood, Jackson?
I was never in a bad mood.
Okay. You know, nothing will get people out of a bad mood like telling them the bad mood that they were in just a few minutes ago.
It looks like Brother Jackson has all of the bugs fixed.
What's going on in there now? You doing all right in there? Everything's good?
I got my nincompoop pulled up, and it's ready to whoop you.
Oh, do you now? Ken's looking at that nincompoop.
No, he's got it hidden because he doesn't want me stealing it. Of course, I can't go first.
I get to go first.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter.
Yes, Jackson, we all know that you get to go first. You know how we know that you get to go first?
Because Jed York, the owner of the 49ers, loves a cheap hooker.
By the way, we need to do a follow-up on that. Have we figured out what the ad said?
No, but apparently he was responding to it multiple times.
What?
Yeah, apparently he was hitting this ad up like begging for a response.
My goodness gracious. I mean, he's got to have something for a $160 trailer park hooker.
Maybe they offered, some Kentucky Fried Chicken after the deal was done.
Love that chicken from Popeyes.
I like that chicken, too.
Man, oh, man. I don't know. One way or the other, that's coming up in about 25 minutes or so. Jackson will indeed get to pick the batting order. And I'm certain, Ken, that he'll let you go first and me go second. And he gets to go last.
I got a feeling he's got mine. I've got a feeling Brother Jackson has what I've got loaded.
I don't think he has mine.
Is yours from Florida, Ken?
Son of a biscuit eater.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of them from Florida.
Well, that is true. It's a pretty big state down there, Florida.
A lot of crazy folk down there, too. That is Nincompoops in the News coming up in about 25 minutes or so on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Your telephone calls right now. A collection of conversations about Dolly Parton and her passing yesterday at the age of 80, and this Meta settlement, which was revealed in a court filing earlier today. We just had AG Jonathan Skrmetti. I'm having a difficult time with this one, folks. I like Skrmetti, but I don't like big government. I don't like the idea of moving money from business to government so that government can then go about the business of protecting children. Isn't that the business of the parents? If Meta was lying, then they should pay the penalty. But all of these rules and regulations and all of that other stuff that Skrmetti was talking about, is that not the job of the parents? I mean, if it's so bad for kids and parents don't have an ability to control it, then make it illegal for kids to look at Facebook, right? Example, pornography. Pornography is legal on the internet, but it is not legal for youngsters to view pornography. Similarly, you could turn Facebook into an adult-only site, or Instagram, or whatever, if it is that bad. Or maybe just leave it up to the parents to decide how often they're going to allow their own children to go to Facebook. And I hear all the talk about the algorithm, and it's worse for the kids than it is for the parents, and the parents just don't have any ability to. I hear from far too many parents that tell me that they turn the dang thing off or they limit their kids' screen time. I was talking to some good friends the other day. My buddy Mitch and his wife, and they were saying that they limit their kids' screen time, especially during school time, where, I want to say they were saying no screen time during the week, and they only have I guess maybe they were talking about video games, where there's no screen time during the week and only screen time on the weekends during the school year. I mean, it was just kind of a hard and fast rule in their household, and they don't really give a rip how other households do it, and isn't that the way that it should be? 13 after the hour, Super Talk 99.7 WT. And right now, look who it is. It's Mr. Bill in Hendersonville. Bill, I gained 4 pounds because of you. I hope you're happy.
Well, just do like Dolly used to say. She says, I've never worried about dieting. I just wear bigger clothes so nobody can tell.
That's fair. That's fair. I'm wearing a bigger shirt today because of all of the fair food that I ate over a course of, 3-4 days. We ate some of this.
Wait till you get to me my age. I'll be 97 in just 20 more years. And at this point in my life, I can eat anything I want to because that's about the only fun I have left. But I wanted to share with you our story of meeting Miss Dolly. I call her Miss Dolly because of all of her accomplishments. And they are amazing. I mean, you look at her record of accomplishments, that tiny lady, she couldn't have been much bigger than 4'9" or something when we met her, and she was wearing 6-inch heels. So she barely was tall enough for me to look down to her, but she's somebody that we can all look up to. And, just past some 5,000 songs she wrote, top-selling #1 singles on Billboard's chart with millions of albums and all of her philanthropic work. And we were pleasantly invited when we were attending First Baptist Hendersonville by our friends Ricky and Sharon Skaggs, who you interviewed yesterday. And they invited us to a Christmas show at the Opry to go with them and some other friends. So typical of those kind of shows, they have a meet and greet. So we had the pleasure of going to be able to meet Miss Dolly. And what I must say is that I've heard people mention whenever they said they had a personal encounter with her, that she was literally the light in the room. You walk in and there was just something dynamic about her presence. And she was so sweet to treat everybody that wanted to shake her hand just like they were the only person in the room. Matt, as I look over my very, very blessed life, I've lived long enough that I have seen a lot of things that have happened in the United States of America. I mean, from the assassination of John Kennedy to the war in Vietnam to the Richard Nixon Watergate era to both Gulf Wars and now what's going on in Iran. But I don't think anything has touched me as personally as it is the passing of Miss Dolly. Now, a lot of people said Miss Dolly has died, but she hasn't died. She has passed into the presence of Jesus.
That's right.
And
what's wonderful is that we who are of the faith and believe in the Lord and have received salvation will be able to spend eternity with wonderful folks like Miss Dolly. So one of the things I'm looking forward to is being able to shake her hand again and tell her how much I appreciate all the things that she accomplished here in this lifetime. And, you know, in addition to helping her people, as she called it, my people in Sevierville with the fire that they had, where she gave each family $1,000 for several months in a row to help them get back on their feet. There was one thing that I don't think anybody has really mentioned too much about, and that was her very accomplished, good sense of humor. So if you have a minute, I know you've heard some of these, but I just wanted to share whoever's a fan of Dolly about some of her most famous lines. Do you have a minute? I can tell you some of my favorites.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. The first one she's probably the most famous for is that when she was asked, and especially by that interview from Barbara Wawa and that they played on a couple of the shows. I think Chris Hand had it on her show, and she was trying to put her down from being a hillbilly and being a dumb blonde. She said, well, I know that I'm not dumb, and I know that I'm not blonde. And then she said, you'd be surprised how expensive it is to look this cheap.
That's right.
And then Barbara said something about, well, you've always been a full-figured woman. Is that really all of you? And she said, well, you know, I think you even mentioned at the beginning of your show, she says something to the effect, well, you know, if it wasn't all me, I would know where to get it if I really wanted it.
Mm-hmm.
Then she said something like, on another show I heard her say, you know, I look just like the girls next door if you happen to be living next door to an amusement park. And somebody else said, had asked her about all of her wigs. And she said, how long does it take you to do your hair? And she said, well, I don't know. I'm never there when they do it. And then she said something about, well, aren't you offended by all the Dolly Parton jokes? And she says, offended? She says, I know some of the best Dolly Parton jokes you've ever heard because I've made up a lot of them just by myself.
Yeah, I think, well, go ahead. I'm sorry.
And then she said, you know, a lot of people criticize me for looking as fake as I am, but she said, I'm very secure in who I am, so that's why I enjoy dressing up and wearing rhinestones, and my boobs may be fake, my hair may be fake, but what's real is my heart. And then she said, besides, I don't mind people talk about my boobs because they're my weapons of mass distraction. Then she wanted to say, you know, I was one of the first women to burn my bra, but you know it took 4 days for the fire department to put it out. And then finally, I just want to sum it up, what I think was her real motivation in life for helping so many people. She says, you know, I never really wanted to be a millionaire. I always wanted to be a billionaire.
Nice.
So I could give away even more money and help even more people.
She did it, boy. She sure did. Bill, I'm so glad you called and shared some of those with us. That's pretty good. Thank you so much. We love you, buddy. Take care. Thank you, Mr. Bill. That's Mr. Bill from Hendersonville. Absolutely adore him. He said he'll be 97 in 20 years. I like that. I will be too, Bill, if I get there, man. If I keep eating that fair food, not going to happen. Yeah, I heard your old age joke. I heard it. What a jerk. 615-737-9986. I was thinking of that. I saw portions of that, and I missed Hand's show. I was out of pocket this morning, so I couldn't listen to Chris's show. Normally, I make it appointment listening, as I'm certain that you do as well. But I heard kind of the latter portions of Dan's show, and it was a good one as always on Nashville's Morning News. And then, of course, I heard some of the crossover, and I couldn't hear anything else while I was in the vehicle, so I heard zero Chris Hand and zero Chad Benson today, just too busy getting some other things done. That said, it's my understanding that Chris played a little bit of this Barbara Walters interview as well. The interview felt like something of a gotcha type interview where Barbara Walters was treating Dolly Parton as something less than, and Dolly Parton gave back just as much as she was getting and did so with a smile on her face, as she was apt to do. And I absolutely loved every second of it that I watched last evening. I think I saw some of that on ABC. Dolly Parton was whip smart, and those that doubted it learned it, especially those asking questions of her, especially those trying to talk down to her or trying to pull her into conversations that she had no interest being a part of. 615-737-9986. More on Dolly, more on Facebook. Bobby and Mike, and, well, two Mikes and a Bobby, as well as a Staff Sergeant Bunch. We'll get to each of you, not necessarily in that order, on Super Talk. Water softeners, specialized filters, UV lights, reverse osmosis units, you name it, they do it at Better Water. Why? Because they want to give you, wait for it now, better water. Do you have sulfur, iron, chlorine, bacteria, or even E. coli in your water? Do you know? Why not call the team at Better Water, get them out to your home, allow them to do a water comprehensive examination for you. It is at no cost to you. They'll let you know exactly what's going on inside of that water system of yours and whether or not you have high levels of some of the things I just mentioned or even other nasty things in the water system. Bottom line is this, friends. If your water's not up to snuff for drinking, for cooking, for bathing, you need to get it up to snuff. Do that with one of these systems from Better Water. I'd put in a reverse osmosis system in my downstairs area and absolutely love it. You'll love it as well. They treat the coffee shop, they treat the hospital, and now they can treat your home. Go to betterwater.com, betterwater.com, or better yet, give them a call, 615-355-6063, 355-6063 for our friends at Better Water.
Tennessee getting a major payday from a settlement with Meta over content harmful to teenagers. And Nashville Electric Service announcing a move aimed at shielding you from the potential rate increases linked to AI data centers. These stories and more coming up at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I did not realize how close I was. I was playing golf this weekend at a facility that's pretty close to Dolly Parton's house. I did not know where Dolly Parton lived prior to her passing. And
Surprising.
I knew she was in. Well, it's the restraining order from years ago. I knew she was in Brentwood, but I did not know that she was on Crockett Road. But I was on Crockett Road near Crockett Road, just pretty recently, playing over at Nashville Golf and Athletic, which is fairly close by, Moores Lane. One way or the other, it has become something of not something. It's become a memorial in front of Dolly Parton's house on Crockett Road, as so many fans have decided to leave bouquets, posters, tributes at the gates of the home that she shared with her husband, Carl Dean, until his passing in spring of 2025 last year. One of the neighbors said that she'll be remembered forever, and they don't mind at all the folks that are driving down the road, passing by her some 70-acre estate that she and her husband, Carl Dean, bought apparently in 1970. Pretty early on. We had a caller earlier say that they lived near Dolly when she lived over in Antioch, and then they eventually moved to Brentwood, where they had their home for, 50 some odd years, if my math's correct. 615-737-9986, Staff Sergeant Bunch. Good afternoon.
Mr. Murphy, how are you doing today?
Doing great. Thank you for calling in.
Thank you. I did want to speak on Miss Dolly. When I deployed to Al-Asad, Iraq, 2019-2020, my wife had introduced me to her imagination library, because at that time, the USO, they had a program where you could read a book and send it back home to the family. I had filled out all the online stuff for that, and Miss Dolly had actually sent me a thank you video for reaching out to her. And so it was a thing. So that was my story on that.
So she sent you a thank you note?
So I got a USB, it was like a 30-second clip of her holding the 3 books when my children were very young at the time, holding up the book saying, thank you for reaching out. This is what she's for and everything, and she hopes the kids enjoy. And I was able to record reading those books to the children and sending that back home while I was deployed.
That's so cool.
It is. And 2 more things, if you don't mind. Mr. Jackson, if you're listening, you've got a squad of 7 in the Kentucky National Guard that, relentless of however the votes go for nincompoops in the news, all 7 of them go to you.
I appreciate it, sir.
Mr. Ken Weaver, once I get out, I'm going to try to make my facial hair just as good as yours, if not better.
Well, sir, I'm sorry to tell you, you should have started smoking at the age of 10.
I started at 18.
Well, Ken's got a couple of years on him. See, this is the Sergeant. Sergeant's just joking around there, but that's this is bad business. You hear what he said there, Ken?
Hey, he's fixing the votes for Brother Jackson.
Just fixing the vote. I mean, and thank you, Sergeant Bunch, for listening. Thank you for that wonderful story about Dolly Parton, but I don't know that I appreciate the last half of that call. I mean, oh, you got 7 votes for Jackson. I don't care what he says. Jackson could fart on the radio and we'd vote for him. What? What are we even doing? I mean, Jackson already has the fix in quite enough, everybody.
Well, I mean, he's running for governor.
He's running for governor, and he's got a team.
I mean, he ran unopposed in the primary.
Well, that's right. That's right.
What's my party?
The governor party.
Oh, my.
You're you know what? You're part the Gravitas party.
The Gravitas.
I was going to say, if we're going with gonorrhea party, I bet old Jed York would be my chief of staff. And by staff, I mean MRSA.
I was about to say, you said gonorrhea and staff in the same sentence. I'm a little bit worried about you. Might want to get that checked out. 615-737-9986. Speaking of nincompoops in the news, the fix is always in for Jackson Williams when it comes to nincompoops, but Ken Weaver does a great job combating him. I'm here too. That's up next on Super Talk.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. Tennessee's getting a major payday from a nationwide settlement targeting teen social media addiction. Tennessee Attorney General Jonathan Skrmetti telling WTN's Matt Murphy show the state share topped $751 million from a $17 billion settlement agreement reached with Meta.
The platforms are designed to be addictive. They want people on there as many seconds as they can get them. And so there's all sorts of really sophisticated neuroscience where they're figuring out, exactly how to trigger dopamine responses optimally and everything. And it was just wrecking kids whose brains are very susceptible to that stuff.
Officials say this money is going to support children's mental health and online safety initiatives across Tennessee. The settlement also requires daily usage limits for young users and gives parents more tools to monitor activity on Instagram and Facebook. Nashville Electric Service announced a move aimed at shielding customers from potential rate increases linked to artificial intelligence data centers. Under a new TVA policy, large-scale data centers will pay additional charges tied to generation capacity and infrastructure investments. So if you're an NES customer right now, you're paying about 13 cents per kilowatt hour. But tech and industrial customers have been paying only about half of that, actually a little bit less than half of that. Starting in October, data centers will pay all of the infrastructure costs that they create. Tech companies will pay an upfront $1.5 million structure fee per megawatt and a 10% increase over 3 years. And a tech titan out today with a 6,000-word essay warning that we're blowing it on artificial intelligence.
Bill Gates says the computer industry that he championed is now a global threat. Gates saying he's in a state of shock as to why there's not more urgency on AI. He says on semaphore, self-regulation, championed by so many in the industry and the White House, is not working. And he'll gladly debate anyone opposing mandatory reviews of any AI system that could be weaponized to make new molecules and unleash a pandemic. Wayne Cabot, ABC News.
That's the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Kraft Body Scan offered me a couple of months ago several facts about men and women, what makes us different, and the challenges that we face in our middle age and later on in life. And some of these hit a little close to home. For example, only 28% of men meet federal guidelines for aerobic activity and muscle strengthening exercise, while obesity, poor sleep, stress, and inactivity continue to rise. And I fit the latter rather than the former when it comes to the sentence that I just read you. Bottom line is this: if you find yourself in that category, in that number, you need to know what's going on inside of your body. Gentlemen, do not wait. And you can bring the lady in your life along with you. Now, ladies, if you're listening and you want to get the fella in your life involved, how about that couples heart and lung scan at Kraft Body Scan? Non-invasive. It lets you know what's going on with your lungs, what's going on with your heart, what's going on inside of your body. It is quick, takes less than 10 minutes. I mentioned non-invasive. You don't have to go in a tube or anything like that. It's not like an MRI machine. You'll see when you contact Kraft Body Scan or stop by their website, craftbodyscan.com or togetherwescan.com. Togetherwescan.com, promo code MATT50. That's the place to go. Togetherwescan.com, promo code MATT50, or make the call if you have any questions whatsoever. They're there for you at 615-436-1000 for our friends at Kraft Body Scan. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It is the Matt Murphy Show. We'll get to Mike and Lori and Mike. I'd love to talk to you. You guys hang in there. If you're on the line on Facebook or on the line regarding the settlement that Tennessee and other states just reached with Meta, Facebook and Instagram, I want to talk with you because I don't feel like that the government should be involved with this except to ban access to all individuals below a certain age if it is determined that the product is dangerous to those kids under a certain age. It's what we've done with alcohol. It's what we do with tobacco. We don't allow children to make these types of decisions with their developing brains. Why would we not do it with other things like Facebook and Instagram? Why are we trying to split the baby? Why are we feel like we're kind of half pregnant on this front? So that is on the way. Plus, gentlemen, before we get to nincompoops in the news, Ken Weaver back in News Closet B, Jackson Williams behind the glass. You know how I know that Dolly is different?
How?
Well, I know in any number of different ways. But I thought about something earlier today.
Okay.
Last night, I almost made a prediction, and I decided not to do it because I didn't want to put it out there. Because nowadays, no matter what happens in our lives, someone's going to come along with a hot take. Just to have a hot take. And people on social media platforms especially love this. On the Twitter machine, the X machine, if you will, on Facebook and whatnot, they come out with a hot take, and they do it just to have the hot take because they know that they'll get attention. For example, and I hate to bring it up, but it's true. We're about to hit the anniversary of Charlie Kirk's death. And for a hot minute, everybody came together and said, this was wrong. This was awful. Obviously, we can't condone this type of disgusting, depraved, evil behavior. But then here come the hot takes, right? And a lot of people got fired. Now people are being reinstated after getting fired because they've sued those that have fired them. But it just became a hotbed of hot takes. Have you noticed there have been no hot takes on Dolly?
I have noticed that.
Right? Because you know why? Because people know what will happen with their little hot takes. You know, you come out with a Dolly Parton wasn't all that hot take and see what happens to you. Get taken down, boy. Get taken down with the quickness. But I'm waiting on them because sadly, some of this stuff has started. Y'all stop. Everything doesn't have to be about politics. Everything doesn't have to be about your pet subject. I just saw a couple of people online discussing their knowledge, their intimate knowledge that Dolly Parton died somehow from the COVID vaccine. Just stop it. No, I saw it, Ken. I was like, y'all, just stop. Just stop it. It doesn't. Why? I don't understand why people feel the need to do that kind of stuff. But other than that, I haven't seen a lot of hot takes. You know, I have a hot take, though, Ken.
What's that hot take?
I think you or I are going to take down the gonorrhea today.
You think we're going to do it?
In Nincompoops in the News. I feel it. I feel it coming. I do. Oh, my goodness.
Nincompoops in the News.
For your brother Jackson.
He's become the heel of the segment. Nincompoops in the News. Ken Weaver's delivered on news headlines today. He's done a great job over in News Closet B. Matt Murphy has opined on said same. It is now time for us to look all across the volunteer state of Tennessee, all across these United States of America.
Nay, the globe.
Nay, the globe.
Nay, the globe. And find the nincompoops where they live and where they breathe. No nincompoop yesterday, obviously. We were mourning the passing of Dolly Parton, and so we suspended nincompoops for yesterday. So today is our second edition of Nincompoops in the News for this week. I am the current possessor of the trophy.
For 2 weeks in a row, Brother Murphy.
For 2 weeks in a row. And as the, I'm just holding the, hold on. These are the rules of Nincompoops. Ken, you've got your copy in there. As the rules of Nincompoops clearly state.
The winner of the previous day gets to go first.
No, I'm just reading the bylaws here. It says, in the case of a Nincompoops in the News suspended day, the order of Nincompoops in the News reverts to the previous week's winner.
Nope, that's not it. I won on Monday. I didn't get to choose the order on Tuesday because we honored Miss Dolly.
Yeah, but
Brother Murphy, I got the sound effects in everything.
I got the rules.
I get to pick the order.
But I got the rules, Jack.
I shove those rules exactly you know where.
My goodness gracious. You get salty about Nincompoops. You know that?
I do. I haven't had the trophy in a while.
Yeah, I get it. All right. What's the batting order, Jackson?
Me, Ken, you up the rear.
Hold on. Remember when Limbaugh used to do that? Drive people crazy. All right, Jackson. Oh, boy.
I just wanted the horn guy.
Yeah. Well, you're paying him every day. Might as well have him go. I haven't heard that horn in 3 weeks, except for when I call for it.
You'll be back next week when I'm king again.
Will you, sir? Willie Jackson?
Yep.
I don't hear anything over there.
It's in the contract.
Let me hear it. Suck up. All right, Jackson, go ahead.
21-year-old charged after starting fight at Chuck E. Cheese with underage teen who fathered child with his ex-girlfriend.
Sounds like Wooderson.
All right.
This is that.
What? Excuse me, I can laugh.
This is out of Pompano Beach, Florida.
You just want Weaver to laugh at your little jokes? You don't want me to laugh?
I do. I don't have my headphones. Somebody's using them. And
who's using your headphones? Excuse me. Jackson, I'm an open book. I talk about everything. Why do you look at me that way? Why are you giving out your headphones to other people? Yeah, I have some you can use.
3HL had a guest, so I let them borrow it.
Well, aren't you sweet?
We got
3HL
some
needs.
over here in the newsroom, Brother Jackson.
I got some in my, Anyway. Jackson, by the way, Ken, that would be a very kind offer if Jackson could have heard you make it. But Jackson can't hear you because he doesn't have any headphones.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. So we get to say anything. So we can just be quiet and don't have to laugh at his silly jokes. All right, go ahead, Jackson.
A 21-year-old Pompano Beach man is facing child abuse charges after getting into a fight with an underage teenager. The incident occurred around 6 p.m. Saturday inside the Chuck E. Cheese located at 2201 North Federal Highway. According to an arrest form, the victim was working inside the establishment when the suspect, identified as Vincent Evans, came inside with another woman. Deputies said Evans approached the victim from behind and dragged him down before the two started fighting, after which Evans and the woman he was with fled the scene. According to officials, the entire ordeal was captured on surveillance footage. Additionally, investigators said the victim is the boyfriend of Evans' ex-girlfriend, who is the mother of a child shared with Evans, and that she is currently pregnant with a child belonging to the victim.
Oh, nice.
Deputies said they took Evans into custody shortly after midnight, later that evening in Fort Lauderdale. He is facing a charge of child abuse without great bodily harm, and as of Monday evening was being held at the Broward County Jail on a $1,000 bond.
A young lady needs to learn the aspirin trick.
Goodness.
You know what the aspirin trick is?
No.
Jackson?
I don't know what the aspirin trick is.
My grandma used to tell me about the aspirin trick, that some girls need to learn the aspirin trick. You take an aspirin, to prevent those rambunctious behaviors on, the evening, in the evening hours, particularly on the weekends.
Rambunctious.
You take an aspirin and you hold it between your knees, and you hold it there for the entire evening. See what that does for you? Yeah. Take an aspirin. Anyway, so the girl was pregnant.
Yes.
And she was the mother of baby daddy who beat up current boyfriend?
I'm assuming.
Okay. That's a little trailer park soap opera going on.
Inside of a Charles Entertainment Cheese.
So they must have had a child with them. At the
Maybe
time.
there was a babysitter. I don't know.
That's
You don't have what? I guess
take your kids to Chuck E. Cheese.
Well, I guess so. My father-in-law.
If you're going into Chuck E. Cheese to fight, though, are you really going to follow the rules if you have to bring a kid in?
Back in the day before I knew him, my father-in-law used to go to lunch at Chuck E. Cheese with a buddy of his because the beer was cheap and the pizza was cheap. I guess you can get beer. Can you get beer at Chuck E. Cheese?
I think you can.
That's
probably why a lot of parents go. All right, boy, go play some games.
I'm gonna pound a few brews.
You're bothering me, boy.
No, Bob and Tony used to go to Chuck E. Cheese for lunch, and they finally stopped going. Now, this is before I knew them, but Bob was telling me the story about, we used to go to Chuck E. Cheese because you could get a pizza for $5 and a pitcher of beer for $5. And,
really?
He said, oh, man, we'd, for less than $20, we'd get, just get all the pizza and all the beer we wanted. And I was like, well, Bob, why'd you stop going? He goes, well, it wasn't worth the funny looks. I was like, what? And he goes, yeah, two grown-ass men just sitting there looking at the kids. Hey, kids, what are y'all doing? Y'all want some beer?
Yeah, that would look kind of odd.
Wasn't worth it. All right, is that it, Jackson? I felt like there was going to be more with you bragging on that story earlier today.
What more do you want? It's got two baby daddies fighting on the floor of a Chuck E. Cheese. What?
That's pretty good.
What do you want?
You know what I'd like? Well, I'll tell you what I'd like when my story comes up, but my story's not next. Ken Weaver's is. Go, Ken.
This here's out of Hialeah, Florida, where a 39-year-old man was arrested Tuesday when police say he used a metal object to smash a television menu and 2 electronic ordering kiosks at a Taco Bell. The suspect was identified in an arrest report from the Hialeah Police Department as Luis Charles Munoz. That's probably Luis Charles Munoz. The report states that officers were dispatched at around 11 a.m. Tuesday to the Taco Bell after receiving a report of a man hitting the restaurant's kiosks with a sharp metal object. Police said they spoke with the manager, who stated that Munoz had ordered a meal and sat at a table inside the restaurant. She said he stared at her and other employees while he ate. They said when the manager asked her whether something was wrong, Munoz, who is listed as homeless in his arrest report, told her he had been living here for 3 years and that things happen in life. Police said Munoz then got up, pulled out the metal object, and smashed one large television menu and 2 electronic ordering kiosks. The damaged items were valued at approximately $2,500. Munoz then told the manager to call police as he then ran away. Police said they canvassed the area and they found Munoz on the roof of a home where he had barricaded himself. After police attempts to negotiate with Munoz, police said he eventually surrendered the metal object by throwing it off the roof. They said he then turned himself in and climbed down using a Hialeah fire rescue ladder truck that was at the scene. Police said Munoz was then taken into custody without incident. According to the report, Munoz spontaneously told officers he broke the screens because he wanted to, quote, get help. Jail records show he is facing 1 count of armed criminal mischief involving property damage of $1,000 or more, and as of today, he was being held at the Turner Guilford Knight Correctional Center where his bond was listed as, quote, to be set.
Yeah. I'm looking to get some help and also a couple of those gorditas. Thanks.
I just see him eating some tacos staring at the staff.
I mean, y'all don't have any more of them chimichangas back there?
Eating them real mean like.
Yeah, just with open-mouthed.
Things happen.
Yeah, I'm just looking to get a little help here. You know what your story needed? Both of your stories needed?
A nude man.
A guillotine. Let's go to the United States.
What?
A guillotine.
It's not how you say it.
How do you say it? Guillotine. Guillotine. I live in America. I pronounce the hard G.
It's a guillotine.
I don't know what the hell you're doing. What is it? Did your story have a guillotine in it?
No, but yours doesn't either because that doesn't exist.
Guillotine.
Guillotine.
It's guillotine.
I pronounce the L's, boys. There's 2 L's in there for a reason. Y'all don't have any. Say it again.
Guillotine.
Where's the L's?
They're silent.
This is that Georgia education.
Not in my word. No, those L's have just as much rights as that U and that I and that E and that G. No, it's guillotine. The U.S. Capitol, if y'all don't like guillotine, y'all are going to hate this story. U.S. Capitol Police arrested a man who hasn't wanted to drive around Washington, D.C. with a guillotine in the back of their truck.
Right. Nobody's going to wonder what that's about.
Because nobody knows what a guillotine is.
Mm-hmm. Why don't you turn your mic off while I do my story? Fair? I don't tell you how to pronounce subsequently.
You have. I just don't listen.
Well, I'm... Jerk. Oh. Big old jerk in there. U.S. Capitol Police arrested a man seen allegedly driving around with a guillotine in the back of his truck. There's 2 L's in it. I'm saying it. Philon Tom, well, I can't pronounce his name, though. Philon Tam Dulay. That's PHILANTAMDUYLE. 35 was arrested with a guillotine, a device historically used for executions. This device, which is commonly pronounced with both L's, was seized from the back of his truck. Lay, who also has an L in his name, was arrested for allegedly carrying a dangerous weapon. The suspect drove down here from California with both L's in the back of his truck. U.S. Capitol Police investigators are going through the suspect's background to learn why he came to Washington, D.C. in the first place and where the heck he got a guillotine. And why is he pronouncing it that way? Nobody knows. The dude with the guillotine or guillotine in the back of his truck is a nincompoop.
Yes, sir.
And he's in the news on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. All right, I've been told to apologize to Jackson for getting sassy with him. Jackson, I'm not doing it. There you go.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
The suspect allegedly used a sharp object to Smash the Taco Bell kiosks.
Yeah, I pronounce the L in salmon, too. I do. An L in there, boys. After you get attacked with the guillotine, you have to put some salve.
Got to put some salmon.
Salve on your wound.
Got to rub some salve on
Work
it.
some salve on that wound. Eat some salmon later. You cut that salmon with a knife. Or a sword, if you have it. That's Nincompoops in the News. Hey, Jay Willie, have you seen 0589's comment on the Super Text line? Said, me and Jackson going to start putting that P in Thompson. Now, that's funny. That's pretty funny. One of the marks of a good parent, they want their kids to know about danger, who to trust, and what to avoid. And at Eurofix, they've been warning you about the danger of going to other places for a while now. Sadly, some places, they don't police themselves. At Eurofix, they certainly do. If they're going to do it right or they're going to make it right. Not every auto shop tells you the full story. Some oversell you. Some cut corners. They don't do it at Eurofix. You could pay more than for something you just don't need, or you could go to Eurofix and have it done the right way. They make quality repairs at below dealer pricing, and they have since 1999. Get a free 15-minute no-wrench inspection, a 3-year, 36,000-mile nationwide warranty, and all the work that they perform. Rental cars are available at every appointment. Stay on the road and off the tow truck at Eurofix. Family owned for over a quarter century, 5 separate locations. Call Eurofix today at 844-EUROFIX, 844-EUROFIX, or online at myeurofix.com. Hi, friends. Matt Murphy. On America's 250th birthday year, we stand at a crossroads. Will we preserve the principles of the Declaration of Independence, or will we potentially fall to the sway of socialism in the DSA? Eagle Forum is a wonderful organization, and they've announced that their 54th annual Eagle Council Conference is being held September 24th through the 26th right here in Music City at the Sheraton Music City Hotel in Nashville. The event will include incredible guest speakers, workshops, leadership training, and discussions on public policy and civic engagement. America needs to be educated, and we need motivated citizens. Eagle Forum has been educating and motivating men and women for 54 years now. The Legacy of Liberty Conference will inspire a deeper love for our country with speakers that will inspire you and that will discuss the great opportunities that are in front of us as a wonderful nation, 250 years and beyond. We need you. Attend by registering. All of the details are available at eagleforum.org. That's eagleforum.org. That conference is coming to Nashville September 24th through the 26th. We'll see you at the Eagle Forum.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. Tennessee's getting a major payday from a nationwide settlement targeting teen social media addiction. The state shared top $751 million from a $17 billion agreement reached with Meta. Officials say the money will support children's mental health and online safety initiatives across the state. The settlement also requires daily usage limits for young users and gives parents more tools to monitor activity on Instagram and Facebook. We get more from ABC's Elizabeth Schulze.
What we're looking at here is an agreement that effectively concedes that some of the design features on these apps got young users addicted, and the states had claimed that that contributed to harming the mental health of these young users, and now Meta will be forced to make these changes.
Settlement immediately ends Tennessee's lawsuit, by the way. Good news for NES customers as technology companies eye Middle Tennessee for data centers. We hear from Channel 4's Hunter Hoagland.
The NES board met this morning and approved a new policy that ensures you will not have to foot the bill for massive grid expansions triggered by AI. Now, if you are an NES customer, you're paying about 13 cents per kilowatt hour. However, tech and industrial companies have been paying less than half of that at just 6 cents. Now, under a new plan, data centers would have to pay the full cost of the new power infrastructure they need instead of shifting those costs to you. That means data centers would pay a $1.5 million fee for every megawatt of new power they need, plus their electric rates would go up 10% over the next 3 years.
A worldwide pause on U.S. immigrant visa appointments creating uncertainty for people hoping to move permanently to America. The State Department says the temporary change is tied to enhanced training for consular officers at diplomatic posts worldwide. The training designed to ensure visa applicants are evaluated comprehensively and consistently under immigration law. Basically, they want to make sure people coming here are going to be of service to the company and not, or rather the country, and not have to rely on public assistance. Entertainment news as the world mourns the passing of Dolly Parton. Fans around the world are mourning actor Tim Curry, who has died at age 80. The star of the Rocky Horror Picture Show. And here he is as Wadsworth in Clue.
We're trying to find out who killed him and where and with what. There's no need to shout. I'm not shouting. All right, I am.
News of Curry's death has prompted tribute celebrating a career that lasted nearly 6 decades. Meanwhile, here in Tennessee, Dolly Parton's family is carrying out her wish for a small private funeral service. The family requesting donations to her children's literacy charity in lieu of flowers. Here's ABC's Sophie Flay.
Beside her, through all of it, the man she met at the laundromat on her first day in Nashville in 1964.
This good-looking man just drives by, and he says something like, well, where are you going to get sunburned out here? And I say something stupid like, well, what's it to you? We start talking, and 2 years later, we married.
Carl Dean died last year. Dolly said she spent so long caring for him, she stopped taking care of herself.
That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. West Nashville still dealing with that crash, 40 westbound just past 46th Avenue, 51st Avenue, and then westbound before 840. That's really had things backed up. You got a double whammy there on 40 westbound west of downtown. In Antioch, we've got a crash, Murfreesboro Pike at Morris Gentry Boulevard. In Smyrna, a crash, 24 eastbound at Sam Ridley Parkway. Also, Murfreesboro, 24 eastbound at Medical Center Parkway. I guess I'm not getting home tonight. I'm Ken Weaver. Here we go. Yeah.
Don't you mean here we go, chap? Love. It's the Matt Murphy Show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Ken, can I talk to you for a second?
Yeah.
By the way, this is the
Brother Weaver, can I talk to you for a quick bite?
You ought to be talking in a French accent, buddy boy. All right, so there might be just one person on the face of the earth that hates to be wrong more than me. Do you know who that is, Ken?
Who? Brother Jackson.
The future gonerer of the state of Tennessee.
Of the state of Tennessee.
There might be one person on planet Earth that hates to be wrong.
Matt's still mad we dumped the tea into Harvard.
Jackson. Little audio. I don't need video, just audio, please.
Bonjour, this is Julian, the Frenchman who makes French pronunciation videos here on YouTube, and we are looking at how to pronounce the name of this apparatus designed for efficiently carrying out executions by beheading. Famously, it was used in France in particular, and abundantly used during the French Revolution. We are looking at how to pronounce. In French, it is pronounced guillotine. Guillotine. But in English, it is usually pronounced guillotine. In English, you do pronounce the L, guillotine. Guillotine.
Are you a cheese-eating surrender monkey, Jackson?
I don't know, love. Are you a bloke? Pip pip cheerio. I'm Matt Murphy. I say I'm from West Georgia College, but I really mean Westminster Abbey.
What? Why am I English? I'm speaking American.
No, you're speaking traditional British English.
Oh, hip hip cheerio.
Hip hip cheerio, love. Beatles. Madame Tussauds. Actually, I think that one's French.
Just say anything. Say crumpets.
Oh.
Tea and crumpets. We're going to go down. Matt's going to dump the tea in the harbor.
Oh, I got to get you out of here. Otherwise, you're slipping into Australia a little. I think you're sliding.
The harbor.
The harbor. That was Boston.
The harbor. The harbor. Shrimp on the bobby, mate. Oh, that's pretty good. Ken, you said that Mama Weaver weighed in?
Yeah, Mama Weaver weighing in, texting me the correct pronunciations for guillotine or guillotine.
Mm-hmm. I think we can go either or either on this one, Jackson.
Looks like
I think that's fair.
No, love, I believe I disagree. We must pick a winner.
Okay, then the winner's going to be me.
No, you're speaking that British English.
Well,
I bet you love Prince Harry.
What kind of English do you want us to speak, Jackson? It's not French.
Hey, Pepe Le Pew. Hey, it's Pepe. I had a rough time during the cancel culture.
Oui.
They said I was creepy.
I went to a trailer park in Ohio.
Pepe got the guillotine.
Did you see they released the body cam footage?
The body cam footage?
Of the 49ers owner.
No.
Really?
What? Wait, let me talk to real Jackson for a minute. What?
Yeah, they just dropped the body cam footage. I watched it during our commercial break.
How'd that go?
He just got arrested, and they were like, do you know why we're doing this?
Did he give the old, do you know who I am?
No, they were like, oh, what are you doing out of the trailer park, bud? He was like, oh, just driving around.
Yeah, what do you say? What are you doing at the trailer park today? I don't know, just, getting some.
I was soliciting prostitution.
I was just getting.
I think you do what Ken said. I think you just take the L.
I was.
Have you seen their Tuesday morning specials?
I was following up on a lovely advertisement in your local publication regarding a $160 whore, sir. Thank you.
Actually, it was $21 off.
I have a coupon. Or
I've got to groupon.
Wait a minute.
I have a coupon, or as Jackson would say, a coupon.
That's one more detail that was weird. Was it $140 or was it $141?
It was $140. He had $160 on him. I'm assuming he was going to give a tip.
As you do. As you do. For quality service rendered. All right, so that's going to wrap it up for Nick Boops in the news. I'll tally up the votes here in just a moment. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Guillotine or guillotine, either or either. It works for both of us. Thank you, Jackson, for the English accent. That's pretty good. Lori is next up out of Orlando. Hello, Lori. How are you?
I'm good. The only thing that thing does is it still chops the head off. But anyway, moving forward, when I was growing up, I lived in a little farmhouse at Wilson Pike and Split Log Road, and we were the first kids that got on the bus. Then we would go down Concord Road, and we'd always pass Dolly's house on the way to school. And she would sometimes sit up in her Cadillac, get out, lean up against it, and just wave at the school bus and the kids.
Aw.
And we just thought that was just the neatest thing in the world when we were young. And then my first job was at Mrs. Winter's. So I don't know if any of y'all remember Mrs. Winter's, the chicken and biscuit place.
Oh, yeah.
And her sister, and I used to call her Sister W because I couldn't pronounce her name. And they would come around in their little woody wagon, and I'd understand her voice as soon as she spoke in. And I said, drive around for your ham, biscuit, and coffee. And that's all she wanted. Come by, pay for it, wishes a good day, bless you, and went on about her way. Sweetest lady ever.
Well, and there'll never be another like her, Lori. Never.
Nope. And
Never.
We were blessed to have her in our world.
Amen. Well spoken.
Yeah.
That's a great story.
All right. Y'all are killing me today on your show. Thanks for making it a good day.
Well, thank you so much for listening down in Orlando. We appreciate you so much. And we're still kind of, yesterday was a big day, and all we tried to do on our show was to give people an opportunity to speak and to have access or grant access to you, to those who you might want to hear from. People like, I don't know, Ricky Skaggs and Governor Bill Lee and others. And it just made sense to listen to you as opposed to us talking. I mean, and obviously my love of Dolly Parton has gone way, way back. It's funny, I was on a radio station. I do a weekly hit down at WGOW in Chattanooga. Actually, I do two a week. I do one with Dale Jackson's show on Wednesdays and one with Yaffe's show on Fridays. And if you're down that way, you're welcome to tune in and listen. And Dale was giving me kudos. He was like, Matt Murphy. Dale Jackson's got this gruff voice. If you've ever known Dale, he's a good friend. Oh, Matt Murphy, he's not one of these Johnny-come-lately Dolly fans. He's old school Dolly. And it's true. I mean, my love of Dolly Parton has been very well stated and well known for a long, long time. But, we all knew it was coming at some point or another. We didn't know when. None of us do really know when and necessarily. But obviously, Dolly was a very humble person. The humility led her to not want to make a spectacle of her health issues. And I mean, she was just better than that. And at the end, she made it all about us and not about her. And so respectful of that. Obviously, the family has now come out and indicated that the service will be a private one, per Dolly's wishes. One would hope that there is, and I'm certain that there are plans for any number of celebrations of life. You can guarantee that something will go down at the Ryman. You can guarantee that something will go down at the Grand Ole Opry House. I can promise you that there will be multiple celebrations. If not at the Ryman, then at Bridgestone, just in terms of the sheer numbers of people that will want to celebrate the life of Dolly Parton. And many in the General Assembly have already stated that they are planning on tributes and celebrations, and there are plans in the works. I mean, it was 2021. I mentioned at the beginning of the show. In 2021, Dolly, after much conversation about, I guess, originally what the conversation was about, that someone who was here during that time can perhaps call and fill the gaps in for me. I was not here. I did not get here until December of 2021. But the statue that used to be outside of the State House was a statue of Carmack. I think that was the fellow's name, Carmack. And it was taken down because of some relationship that individual had with segregation or with slavery or with racial issues of some sort. And so during the quote-unquote summer of love in 2020 into 2021, apparently that statue was either pulled down forcibly or taken down by officials. I don't know how it was taken down. But apparently in the aftermath of some of that, there were those that suggested that Dolly Parton have a statue put up for her on the grounds of the Tennessee State Capitol. Dolly Parton did not want to get into those political waters and refused to do so. And in 2021, when lawmakers suggested putting up a statue of Dolly Parton at the state capitol, her response was just an incredible shining example of humility and just the type of person she was. But listen to what she said here. I want to thank the Tennessee legislature for their consideration of a bill to erect a statue of me on the Capitol grounds. I'm honored and humbled by their intention, but I have asked the leaders of the state legislature to remove the bill from any and all consideration. Given all that's going on in the world, I don't think putting me on a pedestal is appropriate at this time. I hope, though, that somewhere down the road, several years from now, or perhaps after I'm gone, if you still feel I deserve it, then I'm certain I will stand proud in our great state capital as a grateful Tennessean. In the meantime, I'll continue to try to do good work to make this state proud. Signed, Dolly. Well, Dolly is gone now, and she was a humble person in life, and she was a humble person now in death, and she did understand that there will be attempts to honor her, and she was open to this idea, and I think we should most certainly do it. And hopefully those measures are already in the works. 21 after the hour at Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy. Timberland Cabinets is a Tennessee company based right here in Columbia, Tennessee, as a matter of fact. Founded in 2005, they have an incredible reputation in the 21 years that they've been doing business. With high-quality kitchen and bathroom cabinets, they can do laundry room cabinets. Anywhere that you need cabinets and cabinet products, they've got them, and they can help you. Their core mission is simple, to deliver the best quality at the lowest possible price. I toured the facility and absolutely loved it. You can as well. They'll give you a tour. Go by their showroom in Columbia, by appointment in Franklin, 2 separate locations with premium cabinet products available for you. Now, you might be saying, I don't know what to do with cabinets. I don't know how to begin. I know I need a new kitchen. I want something new in my home, in my bathroom, but I don't know where to start. Well, you start with a telephone call and a visit to Timberland, and they can walk you through the entire process, explain the order of things, what you need to know. They have connections for countertop people. They have connections for flooring people. They know all of the best quality people in our area, and you keep it right here in the great state of Tennessee. That's what it's all about. Manufacturing done right here in Tennessee. U.S. made, yeah. Tennessee made. That's even better. TimberlandCabinets.com or 931-499-7170. 931-499-7170 for Timberland. Man, Matt Murphy getting a lot of votes for the guillotine story.
I don't think so.
And a few for the guillotine story. They both count. Andrea says it's time for a statue now. I would agree with that. 6148 writes in and says, now that Miss Dolly has passed, who is the next person with character and philanthropy in the music industry? Thanks, Bubba. Huh. I mean, I don't care for her music. I'm not knocking her. I'm not making a matter of taste a matter of fact when I say that. I mean, anytime I do this, people think I'm knocking. I mean, like I said about Jelly Roll, Jelly Roll apparently made an ass of himself on Jimmy Kimmel. Called Donald Trump a fat pig. I mean, Jelly Roll weighed 550 pounds. And good for him. He lost a bunch of weight. But I don't know that he should be calling people fat pigs. Plus, Jelly Roll goes out there to California and shoots off his smart mouth about President Trump while on the set of Jimmy Kimmel Live. The internet don't lie, bro. And I got video of Jelly Roll, a much larger Jelly Roll, hugging Donald Trump's neck at a Kid Rock's there too. I think it was at a mixed martial arts fight. Either way, so that's fine. But I made the comment, and I don't fault people who like Jelly Roll's music. I don't care. I mean, you like what you like. I genuinely don't make a matter of taste a matter of fact. If you like a certain food that I don't like, I'll tell you I don't like it. And if you like it, that's great. But if I tell you I like something, don't tell me, oh, it's horrible. That's horrible. Well, I just told you I liked it. What do you mean? It's not horrible to me. All that to say, I didn't care for Jelly Roll's music, and Jelly Roll came off as somewhat of a forced story. That was just my take on it. And some people bought into it. Some people said, no, the redemption story's real. And okay, well, that's fine. It felt forced to me. And so I can't care less about Jelly Roll because I really never cared anything about Jelly Roll to begin with. Yeah? But I never cared for Taylor Swift's music. But I'll say this, Taylor Swift seems willing and genuine to the extent that she's willing to help people. She gave $2 million to the Imagination Library a couple of months ago when she and Travis Kelce got married. Dolly Parton, one of the last videos Dolly Parton did was a thank you video to Taylor and Travis for making that very generous donation. So I don't know who it would be. I don't know if you would think that Taylor Swift has character or not. I think she certainly has the money and the ability to give, as Dolly Parton chose to give, back to her community and back to her fan base and back to her family members and all of that. So, but, who knows? 6:30 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. When we return, Dolly's Hotel is opening up this year. We'll discuss that on the show, plus a few other news items that we want to get to before we get out of here, including those of you that want to comment on the Jelly Roll story. I mean, I don't, once again, think enough of him to belabor the point, but, I mean, Jelly Roll isn't, a lot of people thought he was a man of the people and whatever. I'm not even asking for his political opinions, but what you can't do is throw a rock and hide your hand. You can't do all of that. And, we're just joking around. Okay, well, you know what? We'll just joke around to the next concert. We don't have to go see you. Of course, I wouldn't have gone to see him to begin with. It's 6:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hi, friends. Matt Murphy. Craft Body Scan can be found at togetherwescan.com. Ladies and gentlemen, I implore you, make the call to Craft Body Scan. Do this. For less than $100 for you and a loved one, you can get a couple's heart and lung scan at Craft Body Scan. Now, this is a value in the thousands of dollars, and it can be yours at Craft Body Scan for less than $100. Why are they doing this? To introduce you to Craft Body Scan, to make sure that you understand where they are and what they do and how they do it, and to make sure that you understand what's going on inside of your body, to see the wonderful modern technology that is CT scans at Craft Body Scan. This is non-invasive. It doesn't take very long, less than 10 minutes, as a matter of fact. You don't have to take off your clothes. You don't go in a tube. It's just technology that looks inside of your body, that gives the scan done. You'll see the results, and you will understand the peace of mind that comes with knowing that you're A-OK. No matter your age, you could use one of these with Craft Body Scan. Ask about their full body scan when you go by. TogetherWeScan.com, promo code MATT50. That's promo code MATT50, TogetherWeScan.com, 615-436-1000, 615-436-1000 for Craft Body Scan. By the way, for those asking, hey, Jackson, you got a pen in there? It is the Matt Murphy Radio Show. Matt Murphy, Ken Weaver back in News Closet B, young Jackson Williams. Quesadilla. That's quesadilla, right?
It's a quesadilla.
Quesadilla. 2 L's in that thing. People were asking. Quesadilla. We're not south of the border around here. By the way, you and I are going to have to count these up at the end of the show. This is a neck-and-neck race that's going on right now, Jackson. And we believe in counting every vote. Every vote should count. The voting closed at who won on the YouTubes?
You did.
Wow. Okay. It's not gonna make you happy, is it? If I win today. Yeah, I don't think so.
I'm writing something for you to pronounce.
I'm not. I see that. Oh, look. Is that a K? Is that a K?
There is a K in there.
Was there, and is the last letter a U? Huh. Okay, I'll work on that. See. You're a funny guy. 615-737-9986. On the for those who missed the Jelly Roll story, a couple of you are saying what went on with Jelly Roll. He went on Jimmy Kimmel Live. He told a couple of off-color jokes about Donald Trump. He referred to Donald Trump. He said something along the lines of, as one former fat pig to another fat pig, you know, I can tell you this, you'll feel a lot better if you lose the weight, and then you'll be happy to see and he referred to his genitalia. And I mean, it was, you know, it was what it was. Jelly Roll, if he chooses to push aside that portion of his fan base, then that's up to him. He has to live by the words that he says. Entertainers, like every other American, have every right to their opinions, and people have every right to how they are going to respond to them. I mean, if the Dixie Chicks taught us anything, right? I mean, way back in the day, the Dixie Chicks, who are now no longer called the Dixie Chicks because, God forbid, they have the word Dixie in their name. Stupid. The Dixie Chicks went overseas, and they talked about being embarrassed that George W. Bush was the president of the United States of America. And they thought that there would be no repercussions. Now, obviously, you're well within your right to say what you want to say, so long as you're not violating the rights of other people or putting other people in direct harm's way. But you are not free of consequence. Matt Murphy's not free of consequence. If I say something that the listening audience doesn't care for, or if my employers do not care for, I could either be pulled off the radio by my employers, or even worse, people decide to listen to something else because they don't like what Matt Murphy has to say. They don't like what Matt Murphy supports. And off they go. And that is consumer choice. Similarly, if you don't believe that Jelly Roll values your relationship with him, then you no longer have to have a relationship with him. No one's forcing you to be there. And as I said on my social media outlet, on the X machine, you can find me at Matt Murphy Show. I invite you to give me a follow. I think it's a pretty good follow. At Matt Murphy Show. I never cared anything about Jelly Roll. His music is not for me. His story seemed forced and, frankly, fake. I don't know that it is. I'm telling you how I feel about it. I have no inside knowledge. So don't come at me. I'm telling you how I feel about it. And that's how I feel about it. You can feel however you want to about it. So if I don't care anything about Jelly Roll now, or if I didn't care anything about Jelly Roll before, how am I going to care anything about Jelly Roll now? I didn't care before. Does that make sense to everyone? I hope so. I can't start caring if I don't care at all right now. And I can't care any less. And that is the moral of that story. And this has nothing to do with his size or his past history or whatever. Like I say, on that front, that seems very forced to me. I don't care for his music. I mean, I really don't absorb any modern music, quite frankly. Paul is next up on the subject of Dolly. Hey, Paul.
Hey, Matt. Appreciate your show and your team. Good mix of information, news, and humor.
Thank you, sir.
My suggestion would be, we have days for everything under the sun. I think it would be nice to have a Dolly Parton day, and on that day, you do a random act of kindness for someone, pay for their meal through the drive-thru, pick up a ticket at the restaurant, just something to show kindness. And that way we could honor one of our great icons from Tennessee. Just an idea.
Paul, I know when that day should be. I think I know when Dolly Parton Day should be. You got any ideas?
Well, I don't know when her birthday, I don't know what day she was born.
Well, she was she was born on January 19th, but here's the suggestion that I would make, Paul. You ready for it?
I'm ready.
September 25th.
Okay.
Do you know why?
Don't have a clue. Educate me.
That's 925. You get it? September
9 to
20.
5. I'm a little slow on the uptake, but I got it now.
Yeah,
so
9 to 5. September 25th
Okay.
will be 9 to
Okay.
5. Dolly Parton Day.
That would. I think that's a. What do you think about that?
I love
mean,
it. I love it. I love the idea. Yeah, of making a point to pay it forward, to pay for the person
Right.
behind you for doing those types of things. Random acts of kindness on 925. I love it.
Okay, brother. It's
All right.
on you now.
Well,
it's on you to get it started.
Well,
Okay.
Paul, thank you. I mean, I love the idea. I love the concept, and 100%, I'm all in. Dolly Parton Day on. I mean, if Star Wars can get a day on May the 4th, and they get another day, Revenge of the 5th, why couldn't Dolly have September 25th, 925? What a way to make a living. Now, it's my understanding that several radio stations around town, including WSM, I believe, have announced that they will be playing Dolly Parton's I Will Always Love You tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. I don't know if Dan, that's up to Dan. Several of you have asked if we're participating in that. I don't have anything to do with it. I am certain that if Dan is aware of it, that he would certainly take it under consideration if at all able. But it's my understanding that WSM AM, the home of the Grand Ole Opry, amongst others, are planning on doing so. And I would think that it's no skin off our nose to do the same thing. But, yeah, apparently 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. Once again, I'm a little nerdy like this, but I don't know why you wouldn't have done it at 9:25. But, 9:25 in the morning. But several radio stations are planning on doing that. We're aware of it. I don't know if Dan's aware of it, but we will certainly make Dan aware of it. And you perhaps will be listening to I Will Always Love You tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock and bawling in your automobile or your home or your place of business. Dolly Parton's last song is apparently locked away in a box and will not be released until what would have been her 100th birthday. We heard about this a couple of years ago. We reported on this a couple of years ago. Dolly Parton put in a chestnut box, which is on display at her Dreammore Resort in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, a song called My Place in History, with strict orders that it would not be released until January of 2046. During an appearance on the Kelly Clarkson Show in 2022, Parton said, "You have no idea how that has bothered me. I want to go dig that up so bad. It's a really good song." A recording of the song is on a CD in a box alongside a player, Parton has said. Parton co-opened Dolly Wood in the foothills of the Great Smoky Mountains in 1986. It was already a theme park, but she hooked up with the ownership group and became a part of it. Obviously, it has a recreation of her childhood home and a museum documenting the star's life. Jackson, have you been to Dollywood?
I have not.
I haven't either. Many are surprised when I say that, but I've never gotten over there. We should go.
Yeah.
What do you think, Jackson? We need to figure out. I'll tell you what, you pay the gas and I'll pay for the tickets to get in and the food. How about that?
All right.
I think I just screwed myself, but one way or the other. Parton said in that 2022 interview that she wasn't sure whether she would be around to hear My Place in History, and obviously she will not be here to hear it. I might be here, I might not be, she said. Tributes continue to pour in around the globe, but one wonders if they will, the trust that is put together with her family, amongst others within her business community, whether they will stick by the 100-year rule on Dolly Parton's song, My Place in History, or they will speed that up based on the death of Dolly Parton yesterday at the age of 80. Who knows? Who knows? Certainly her legacy is intact, and she's got one more song to present to us, either in 2046 or just before. It's 48 after the hour. We'll come back and wrap things up in a moment on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It is very difficult to feel good about yourself if you have bugs in your home, in your place of business. If there are bugs in your home or place of business, it is impossible to feel good, right? And you need to eliminate them. How do you do so? Might I recommend US Pest, whether it's spiders? I mean, it is spider season, friends, and they'll get in if you let them. I mean, oftentimes they'll slip through the cracks in the walls and whatnot, and here they are. And whether or not they're large spiders, small spiders, they are around. And let me tell you, y'all know my history with spiders, and I don't care for them. That's why I've got... Oh, pardon me. That's why I've got U.S. Pest on speed dial, and I appreciate the good people at U.S. Pest. J.K. and Erica Brister are good folks. They run a fine company. They're good people to work for and good people to work with, and they will eliminate the bugs in your life if you let them. It takes a telephone call to 590-1260. That's 590-1260 to our friends at U.S. Pest. Online at uspesta.com. All things bugs, they'll get rid of them. Termite protection, preventative and corrective measures, they'll take care of that. They offer crawl space service as well. Little rats, little rodents, little mice, they'll take care of those too. It's uspest.com or 590-1260 for U.S. Pest. We are so lucky to have Genesis Diamonds here in our community, a cut above every other place, far and away the leader in the industry, the dominant player when it comes to engagement rings and fine jewelry. It's an amazing store, a beautiful, elegant showroom, too, as a matter of fact, Green Hills and Cool Springs. Great people who care, not clerks, diamond experts, and not people who are there to commission to sell you something. They don't work on commission at the good people of Genesis Diamonds. They just don't. The value, the prices, the fact that you get a bigger, better diamond for less money, that's what it's all about, a no-pressure environment. Nobody beats the diamond prices. Nobody beats the environment. That is why Genesis is such a disruptor in the jewelry industry, because everybody's going to Genesis. Remember, they were started by former diamond wholesalers and diamond cutters. They entered the retail space and truly did disrupt the space. Get the deal you deserve on the diamond that you deserve at Genesis Diamonds. That is what it's all about. Extraordinary service, unmatched quality, unbeatable value, unrivaled selection. Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. When you walk through the door, you'll see the beautiful sparkle, and tell them Matt Murphy sent you to Genesis. I feel by tomorrow we'll get back to a little bit of a normal show. Today, a mix of conversation regarding Dolly Parton and the news of the day. And there are news items out there that we need to discuss, and we have over the course of the afternoon. I appreciate the Attorney General, Jonathan Skrmetti, being a part of the show. I'm still torn on this issue of Facebook. I feel like it is a parental issue, first and foremost, and last, really. And we either determine that things are legal or they're not. And if things are legal for the youngsters, then it is up to the parents to monitor. I mean, some of these provisions in the rules, I was reading over these during one of the breaks, and some of these exclusions that they're setting up for Meta, for Facebook, it's pretty odd that we would expect that Facebook would be responsible for some of these measures and not the parents themselves. In the meantime, Jackson, you'll be happy to know that many of your minions are coming out of the woodwork demanding that I pronounce words like quesadilla and armadillo. I mean, you don't say armadillo, say armadillo. I pronounce all of the letters. I am infamous for my determination to pronounce all of the letters in any given word, with very, very few exceptions. The letters are in there for a reason, and they deserve pronunciation like the rest of them.
Like Thompson, Georgia.
There's no P in Thompson. That's why you don't pronounce the P. It's Thompson, Thompson.
So if you wrap an armadillo in a tortilla, can you call it an armadillo quesadilla?
Yes. You can call it anything you want.
I'll call it dinner.
How about this? How about the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement arrested nearly 50,000 people during July, the highest single monthly arrest total during the second Trump administration term. According to new figures, the spike in immigration arrests show the administration has continued to advance its mass deportation agenda despite a shift in approach earlier this year. This is great news, if I am to believe the numbers, and I think I believe the numbers. The July arrest total of 49,571 marks a 15% jump from a month earlier, a 70% increase from February. In the aftermath of the Trump administration's enforcement surge in Minnesota, as part of the surging arrest numbers over recent weeks, ICE officers have made arrests at traffic stops. They've increasingly relied on state and local law enforcement partners who assume immigration enforcement duties, which is one of the questions that I have for Jerry Green. I think she was on with Chad Benson. I missed some of the conversation, caught other portions of the conversation, so perhaps I missed them talking about immigration. But if they did, I would love to know what her position is on the state, either through the state law enforcement, the Tennessee Highway Patrol, or local law enforcement agencies. What is her position on sanctuary cities? What is her position on assisting Immigration and Customs Enforcement in apprehending, detaining, and eliminating through deportation illegal immigrants in the state of Tennessee? Seems like this is working pretty well across the United States of America. I feel as if it would work or continue to work pretty well here. Immigration arrests this month have reached a new high. The new arrest numbers show the administration, quote, has not stopped enforcement. They've changed tactics, and if anything, they've become more effective. Immigration arrests in the months before Trump got into office hovered a little over 8,000, a figure largely made up of immigrants transferred from city or state jails to prisons and turned over to ICE to remove them from the country. During his first year in office, the numbers started climbing as the administration loosened restrictions on where and who ICE could arrest, while it also infused the agency with billions of dollars in resources to attempt to facilitate those arrests. In December, the number of arrests jumped to more than 40,000. And once again, this past month, almost 50,000 arrests by Immigration and Customs Enforcement. That is great news. So many of you are indicating to me that Dollywood is a wonderful park with awesome rides. Some of you say, not so much. 2590 says several television stations are joining in to the tribute for Dolly Parton tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock in the morning. I wouldn't be surprised at all if Dan Mandis and Nashville's Morning News were a part of that wonderful tribute as well. Certainly, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We love Dolly. as evidenced by conversations with Chad and Chris Hand, Dan, and Nashville's Morning News this morning, and, of course, yours truly on the Matt Murphy Show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. By the way, someone asked where Cameron was. He is out this week, back next week. I'm not here for 3 days next week. I will be here for Monday and Tuesday, Tuesday being my birthday. Jackson, I hope you've done your shopping accordingly. And then out Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday in advance of the Labor Day holiday. Brian Wilson will be with us. He'll be subbing in for us from 3 until 7 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Until next time, tomorrow, 3 o'clock, Matt Murphy speaking and saying, for Ken Weaver, for Jackson Williams, and the rest of the crew, have a wonderful evening. Hug your loved ones. So long, everybody.